What the hell? All right, it's gonna be a couple minutes before I get this up. You can hear Lindsey Graham in the background talking. We're gonna be talking about. I'll turn the volume down. We're gonna be talking about what happened at the White House Correspondence Dinner, and make no mistake about it, they're blaming Democrat rhetoric for what happened. If you're watching in the reruns, type rerun in the comments. I need to know that because everybody doesn't watch the program live. But give me a minute to get this last piece up, and should have the party going momentarily. Um, somebody tried to put out a hit on Trump again. This guy is, I guess, get skating on thin ice. Skating on thin ice. But give me a minute here to get this last platform going, and we can go ahead and talk. We're gonna really run this topic thoroughly, so we're not gonna talk about a bunch of topics tonight unless the audience directs us there. We're gonna be mainly talking about this alleged attempt on President Trump's life. That's what we're gonna be mainly talking about tonight. Um, because I've been following the news today, and I'm gonna be honest. I'm a bit angry. I'm a bit upset about some of the shit that's coming out about this. But we'll talk about it. And they going at everybody from fucking Jimmy Kimmel and all this shit about this stuff. Apparently, Jimmy Kimmel made statements about Melania Trump potentially being a widow and him wanting that or something crazy like that. But Trump is back, pissed off with. Well, he never was not pissed off with Jimmy Kimmel and Fallon and the rest of them, but he's there. He's demanding they get fired. So we're gonna talk about that. The name of the show gonna really probably end up being titled "What's the Rules," but on YouTube I'm simply gonna title it "White House Correspondence Dinner." But I want to know from you folks as the program begins. I think we should be just about live on all platforms here now. What up, folks? Once again, it is indeed your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. Want to get into the show because I'm a little upset about the news we've had today. Some of the news we've had today is a tad bit upsetting, as you all are likely aware. A couple of days ago, another alleged assassin, an alleged assassin at the White House Correspondence Dinner, came in armed with full intentions of impeaching the president in his own special way. He was going to remove the president from office. At least that's what they're telling us, and I don't see any reason not to believe them. Fact is, you don't show up to where the president is carrying a firearm in a malicious manner unless you probably want to harm the president. He wasn't there for Lindsey Graham. Let's just put it that way. He wasn't there for Lindsey Graham. So I do believe that the president's life was in jeopardy. Not to mention, they're indicating they found a manifesto from this guy, so he intended to harm the administration, starting with President Trump. My guess is he would have been happy with Vance and a couple other ones too, but it does appear as if he wanted to take out the president. And of course, President Trump and the administration has been very busy on the airways today. And that's what's leading me to do this live. Because the whole assassination thing broke while we were live. We were actually on live when it came down. But what is this? The third one? Butler, Pennsylvania. Well, is it the third or the fourth? Butler, Pennsylvania. The guy who was hiding out on the golf course, that they spotted the flash of his muzzle. And then this one. Is there another one? There's three. There's at least three. Somebody said there's four. Is there four? Anyway, we're going to talk about this because the Trump administration, the airplane. What happened on the airplane? Was there an attempt on President Trump at an airport? Walmart parking lot tomorrow for dress rehearsal for the next show. But we're going to talk about it. I do believe, and good evening to your chosen law. But I do believe there's been three alleged attempts on President Trump's life. The young man at Butler, Pennsylvania, who did take out an innocent bystander, he is deceased. The guy that was on the golf course in Florida, he is serving, even though he didn't get off it. And now this just happened at the White House Correspondence Dinner. So there's at least three. I don't know if there's any more of them, but there's at least three on Trump's life so far. And we'll get into it. But keep in mind, President Trump is getting caught in. We can get the live shut. We had to. This one was on 5G, but it's on Wi-Fi now. Anyway, it shouldn't lag anymore. But what's happening is MAGA is even starting to question some of the things coming from Trump. Simply put, because of his campaign promises went belly up. And how many of you seen this DoorDash scandal that broke up? But this woman was allegedly delivering DoorDash to the White House, and Trump came out and admitted it was a bit tacky to do that. So he came out and admitted that that whole thing was fabricated. So the fact is, people are now starting to think that Trump is fabricating shit. I'm not saying that this attempt on his life in at the White House Correspondence Dinner was fabricated. I want to hear from you. But I'm not gonna jump on a bandwagon and say it was fabricated. I do want to hear from you folks in regards to why you think so. But if you constantly say things that don't come true or that look fishy, people are going to start being hesitant in trusting you. And that's probably what is happening with President Trump. People are starting to be hesitant in trusting him, such as the Venezuelan Iranian conflicts do not appear to be what he told his own supporters they were about, helping the citizens of those countries. I don't think MAGA believes the Iranian conflict has anything to do with saving protesters in Iran anymore. So, look, you can only tell folks things that don't culminate into reality so much before they start questioning you. And that's what's likely happening. But what I want to get into is, the right, particularly Carolyn Levitt, said something today. I want to give you this clip because I'm going to be honest with you, this one upset me a tad bit. I'll play, it's only a few seconds long. I'll play it and I'll look forward to hearing how you guys respond to this in the comments. But this one I'm admitting somewhat upset me. Carolyn Levitt, spokesperson for the Trump administration.
Recent years has faced more bullets and more violence than President Trump. This political violence stems from a systemic demonization of him and his supporters by commentators, yes, by elected members of the Democrat Party, and even some in the media. This hateful and constant and violent rhetoric directed at President Trump day after day after day for 11 years has helped to legitimize this violence and bring us to this dark moment. Those who constantly falsely label and slander the president as a fascist, as a threat to democracy, and compare him to Hitler to score political points are fueling this kind of violence. The left-wing cult of hatred against the president and all of those who support him and work for him has gotten multiple people hurt and killed, and it almost did so again this weekend. When you read the manifesto of this shooter, ask yourselves, how different is the rhetoric from this almost assassin than what you read on social media and hear in various forums every single day? The answer, if you're being honest with yourself, is that there is no difference at all. Much of the manifesto of the would-be assassin is indistinguishable from the words that we hear daily from so many. Nobody in recent
years. I will tell you what upsets me about this, and this is why I titled the show on my other apps, what are the rules? What are the rules? Now, the Trump administration is saying it is violent Democrat rhetoric that's leading to attempts on President Trump's life. But what I'm trying to find out is what are the rules to violent rhetoric? I mean, because make no mistake about it, President Trump says violent things all the time. I mean, I don't understand what are the rules to violent rhetoric. You even have folks like Marjorie Taylor Greene that's indicating what he's saying about her is causing her to get death threats. She's not a liberal. So, what are the rules? That is the name of the show today. That is the topic we're going to discuss in detail. And if we spin off to something else, we'll talk about it. But I only got one topic today. What are the rules? Now, President Trump is also demanding Jimmy Kimmel of the Tonight Show. I think he's on. No, he's ABC. I think Fallon. I think is NBC. Whatever the case may be. The guy made a joke about, Melania Trump is an expectant widow or something like that a few days ago. And they're trying to indicate that that somehow led to this or whatever. There's no evidence that the alleged assassin even heard the joke, so I don't know how you can automatically tie it to that. But what I'm asking is, what are the rules? President Trump has said a whole lot of things that are violent in nature, and we'll cover many of them. But once again, just like with Jimmy Kimmel saying something and it being referred to as a joke, so to speak, how many times has President Trump said something controversial? The liberals went ape shit, and the right said it's just a joke. So what are the rules? When is it okay to tell violent jokes, and when is it okay not to do it? I'll give you an example here on my screen if I can actually blow it up, because it should have been larger than this. But this is something President Trump sent from his account. That's President Biden, while Biden was still our president, hog-tied in the back of a trunk of a car. That was sent out by President Trump. That picture was sent out by Trump himself of his adversary hog-tied in the back of a car. It was a joke, according to the Trump administration. This is violent as hell. It's kidnapping. It's violent as hell. And the Trump administration said it was a joke. MAGA had no problem with this. No problem whatsoever with this. So I'm just simply asking, in the comments, Ducky said, but not killed. So it's okay to joke about kidnapping, but not murder. Is that what I tell you somebody, what else is it's okay to joke about PDF? As long as a person is alive, it's okay to joke about beating the shit out of them. Just as long as you don't kill them, you can joke about it, huh? Wow. Anyhow, as I just stated, what are the rules? Is that the rule what Ducky stated in the comments? The rules are you can joke about any violent act as long as the person doesn't die. As they say in, what is the doctor that played in The Hangover? Did you die? But did you die? As long as the person doesn't die, you can joke about it, huh? Because that's what he's trying to say to defend this. Anyway, we're going to go straight to the boxes. I want to know from you folks, what are the rules? I don't know. I honestly do not know what the rules are at all, because I'm hearing the criticism when the jokes are aimed at Trump, and I'm hearing the laughter from MAGA when Trump aims the jokes at other people. So is that the rule? That it's okay when Trump does it and it's just wrong when it's done to him? What are the rules? That's the name of the show today. Tap the screen, get the likes on up to 10,000. We're certainly going to be MAGA friendly. We're not going to run from that. MAGA will be allowed to speak as they always are. We don't block, ban, or censor. MAGA remains the preferred guest. Liberals are welcome as well. You can be critical of anyone on the program, including yours truly as well. And our comments continue to go from left of Mom Donnie to I'm having dinner with Q. So looking in the comments, yes, another episode of fluffery for Trump's bullshit, says King Finn. You gotta give it time. CBOG Kush, I hope we can deliver on your statement that it's going to be a good show. I'm really hoping we can do that. I see the comment. Somebody says, yes, murder is different, says TRC. So are you saying pedophilia is okay to joke about? Where do you draw the line? What are the rules? What violent felonies are okay to joke about and which ones are not? What are the rules? Grape? Name it. Burglary? What are the rules? What violent felonies are okay to joke about, and bank robbery is okay? Let me know. The guy that disrupted the event the other day was just joking, says that's right. And that's what the problem is. I mean, go to the box. Are we at 10,000? I need you folks to tap the screen on TikTok, get the likes up, and we'll start out with Moose. Good evening, Moose. Welcome to the program. If I can get my audio playing right. Did Moose come up? No, he did not. We'll try it again with another caller. Tap the screen, get us up to 10,000. MAGA chose Trump as their alpha. There's nothing wrong with if you favor an alpha leader. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just simply saying, what are the rules, though? Is it okay for him to joke about things, but wrong to joke about things concerning him? That's what I'm asking. When the next Iran Lego movie coming out? It came out today and it was hilarious. There is a Lego clip that came Lego TikTok or whatever you want to call it. Came out about RFK with the worm in his brain. It is hilarious. the rhyme goes something like your voice is shaky like you're committing crimes, and there's raccoon penises. I mean, it's crazy. But the latest is on RFK. And he's drinking milk from cows and shit. You gotta look it up. It's fun. Whoever's creating these Lego videos, they're spot on. And by the way, there is a White House Correspondence dinner assassination tip Lego video out as well. They're putting them out fast. Paid actor says Teddy Owens. Tap the screen, get your boy on up to 10,000 if you will. And we weren't able to go to Moose, so we'll make it happen with Millennial X. Good evening, Millennial. Do people think Iran should have nukes that no one will respond? Some do. I don't think anybody thinks Iran should have nukes. I think the argument might be those who don't agree with them having nukes versus them believing they should be able to defend themselves. But I don't think anybody, I think this country should have nuclear weapons. Because there's a lot of Americans that don't think we should have them. So it depends on where you go with that. And by the way, we're going to bring up, we're the only nation on earth that has actually used atomic weapons and threatened them. If you look at President Trump talking about getting rid of a whole civilization in one single day, that's the only way you can do that. So President Trump just led folks to believe he was going to use a nuke again. We are the bad people. Damn, says MBW. I'm having trouble bringing up guests. Well, I think they're hanging up. I don't think it's my device. We'll keep it moving. We'll make it happen with Gerald MC. Tap the screen. Help your boy out with the hat and mustache. TikTok cap goes. You know I'm going to ask that. Support the program if you will. Gerald MC, good evening.
What's going on, Brother Ryan?
Not much at all, just hanging around like Al Sharpton at a Klan meeting. So let me ask you this. What are the rules? Because the Trump administration that routinely posts controversial shit is suddenly very unhappy with the language aimed at him. You hear Carolyn Levitt says people, stuff like this comes from folks calling him a fascist, saying he's a threat to democracy and comparing him to Hitler. What say you?
I say that is what the rule in their mind. Are you asking me what should be the rule? Or
let's go with that. First of all, we'll go with what do they think the rules should be, and then you tell me what they should be yourself.
Okay, so the rule that they think it should be is that our child president should never be offended by anything said about him because he is perfect. Just ask him. He's done the biggest thing for everything. He's done the biggest this, the greatest this. It's the worst it's ever been. It's the greatest thing since.
Well, the man, wait, Gerald, the man is trying to make America great again. That's not a bad thing, is it?
No.
Okay.
If you define making America great is making Trump richer, yeah. That's what he's doing.
Well, how about if he does make America great economically, strength-wise, militarily powerhouse, should he not be worth a few extra bucks?
Look, if he makes America great, here's the thing. Somebody asked me the other day, you don't like Trump? I said, no, I don't like Trump. But I'm going to tell you this. I live in the United States. If he destroys the United States, I go down with it.
Fact. That is a fact.
If he makes America great, then I go up with it. So do I want him to fail? No, not to that degree. I don't want him to fail. I don't want him to destroy the country either. But I think that's where we're headed. Look at the report that just came out the CBO. Okay. The debt is it's faster than it's ever been. The debt growth is faster than it's ever been. Something else he did greater than any other president, drive the debt up.
Well, I mean, unfortunately, fact is the man has been in, military wars or conflicts his whole presidency just about. So that absolutely does cost money. But before you continue, in the comments, Kev68 says, I'm in the United Kingdom. Do you believe in a special relationship and is it now broken? I do believe the UK and America has a special relationship. I do not believe it's broken, but I certainly believe it is grown weaker in the last year or two. So hopefully that
I
answers.
think
Go
it's
ahead.
very strained.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
all of our allies, people, well, we don't care about them other countries, but
Yeah.
you can't do that anymore. The world is a lot smaller than it was in 1942. We are codependent on a lot of things. I mean, if China really wanted to mess us up, turn off the rare earth minerals. Watch what happens.
Well, I'd say one
All
thing:
the cell phones stop working.
if they go from the U.S. dollar as a standard, it's going to hurt us significantly. And ain't nothing stopping us from doing that.
Yeah, the dollar will be worthless.
Yeah.
We call them pesos.
Yeah. So, but I think what's happening is there's a lot of folks that do not pay attention to the small stuff, and they just see us with a big military, a rich country, and think we don't need anybody. Just like we thought Iran would be an easy pushover until they started showing we do have some options in this. And now folks are like, well, I didn't think they could do that, or I didn't think they could do that. So yeah, if we go rogue on every country on earth at the same time, it ain't gonna be in our best interest.
Right. And then we made a war. And then, like before, if I remember correctly, most every other conflict that we've had, we've gone out to our allies and said, hey, we're about to do this. Here's what's going to happen. Here's here's why we're doing it. And they all get on board. With Trump, he goes out and does it. Then, hey, y'all need to come help me.
Yeah. And that's what with the Iran war, not even giving them the courtesy of telling them to get their citizens out of the bombing area. Because they had the NATO nations had to scramble to get their citizens home because the bombs just started dropping. We didn't even let our allies know you need to get your people out of the way of this. I mean, so there was zero courtesy in that. And then Trump, well, you should be eager to help me.
So let me cut off the Strait of Hormuz and hurt you guys until y'all are willing to help me.
Yeah. After the tariffs, after telling them they ain't shit, after telling them we don't need NATO, like how many times can you insult people before they start responding to it?
Exactly. And there you go. There's the rule. I can insult you. I can say anything I want to say about you. I can talk about you like a dog. I can throw you in the back of a trunk. I can use any kind of rhetoric I want. We can say you're eating animals, you're eating pets, you're eating dogs.
That's another one.
All of these things you can say that have no basis, nothing. Just make it up. Say it a whole lot, make it up, and that's okay.
Well, but but you heard Carolyn Levitt. She said Democrats are constantly calling the man a fascist and comparing him to Hitler, and this is the kind of stuff that's leading to those threats. What say you?
Well, quit doing shit just like Hitler.
What has he done? I gotta ask because my MAGA audience is gonna be furious if I don't. I gotta defend my MAGA audience. What the hell has Trump done that is similar to Adolf Hitler?
Let's start with now. We kind of got a hold of it. ICE agents coming out, mask up. When in this country has somebody who has authority and the police authority over you can hide and come out and do whatever they want to you. That's the Browns. The guys in the SS. It's similar to what the SS did. Other than SS, after a while, they did not hide themselves.
But how do you respond to folks who suggest that they were getting doxxed and getting death threats, talking about the ICE agents, so they had to remain anonymous? How do you respond to that?
So why do they do that? I mean, if you're doing a special operation, like sometimes when you're combating drug cartels or things like that, you do a special operation and you go out, you cover up, you do that. But to walk around, just walking around and just like, hey, there's a car. Hey, you come here. What's your name? Show me your papers. Who does that sound like?
Yeah.
Show me your papers. You got papers. Can you prove that you're a United States citizen? Who can actually prove that I can walk out here right now. I couldn't prove I was a United States citizen. If I showed it to some of them, I pulled out. What do I have to walk around with my birth certificate? I got to walk around with my passport, my birth certificate, and my driver's license. And the first thing I said, well, you can make that. That's fake. You can make that anywhere. I got to make a birth certificate tomorrow. You can't.
Yeah, and I've said that several times that most Americans do not roam around with proof of citizenship on them. I mean, so if ICE stops one of us, Do we get detained until they can find out? And if they can find out, then why do you need to have the documents to begin with?
Right. And in today's technology, you should know that you can pull that stuff up, maybe in some cases. But I'm gonna give you an example. My 90-year-old mother. I'm looking for a birth certificate for her. Back when she was born in the South, they didn't keep up with us.
Yeah.
At all. So because of the systemic issues that we had a long time ago, her ability to vote is threatened right now.
Yeah.
If we can't find proof that she was born here 90 years ago.
How about this? And I agree with you. And I'm seeing stories like that everywhere, particularly the people of age, like what you're talking about. In the comments, One Blood America, love that name, said, how did we get to this point of having to identify ourselves? What say you?
Because he's acting like Hitler. I'm sorry, mustache man. You've got an idiot. Either Trump's got an idiot, or his people are his cabinet can't be giving him good advice. They can't be. There's no way. Well, I'll take that back. There's a way.
Well, I mean, regardless of what you think his cabinet is saying to him, MAGA's still fairly happy with the performance of Trump, so he's being given advice, or better yet, I don't think Trump really works with advice. I think he kind of is his own man. But fact is, his supporters still really like what he's doing, so he's got to be doing something right?
Yeah, Trump he's emotionally weak. He's mentally weak and emotionally driven because he can't take criticism. Period. That's the rule. Don't criticize me. You criticize me, oh, you're horrible. I mean, the first time you criticize, you become a piece of crap.
Ooh.
Tucker Carlson, you become a piece of crap. Martin Taylor Greene, you're now a piece of crap. Everybody's a piece of crap. And you were never MAGA. You were just faking being MAGA. If you disagree with me. If you do a crime and you're MAGA, you weren't, no, he's not MAGA anymore. Or he's not MAGA, he's this. When you do the crime, now you're not MAGA.
I don't understand it because I got a couple, I always go to MAGA lives. When I'm not in my own chat like this, I always go to MAGA stuff. I prefer talking to MAGA just for the banter and things like that. And I've encountered a few well-known MAGA content creators that are not like Natalie. For some, I don't know if any of you folks know her, but she was hardcore MAGA, and all of a sudden now, because she was critical on the Iran conflict, believing that it's unnecessary, she's being attacked by MAGA. So she's posting all of these clips about this don't make me any less conservative, and if they're calling her rhino in her. She had plenty of posts, and I stand with ICE. She was definitely MAGA. She was supporting Trump in every way, shape, or form. She criticized us getting involved with Iran, and suddenly all of the MAGA folks that were favorable to her on TikTok are hating on her. And she's posting shit, posting their clips and everything. I mean, she's getting attacked big time just because she didn't agree with the Iran war. She's an Army vet, and they're all over her.
Yeah. You better walk the walk. You better walk the line. If you don't walk the line and agree with every single thing he says, and he's trained them to be that way. That's why I say he's emotionally weak, because he's trained his people to where don't say nothing bad about me. Because if you say something bad about me, I'm getting rid of you.
I don't know if I would suggest Trump is emotionally weak. I think he demands extreme loyalty. I just don't think he doesn't tolerate disloyalty in any way, shape, or form. Jim Beam in the comments said, let's just open up the borders and let everybody in and not just a Mexican cause. We love it. What about the notion that because we asked earlier, how did we get to this point of having to identify ourselves? And I got some MAGA in the audience that are saying, because Biden let everybody in the damn country and we don't know who's here. And the potential, I suppose, is that a bunch of illegal immigrants with no right to be here are voting. What say you?
They're not voting. That's not true. We've had 40 people voted, 40 illegal votes in the last 30 years, 40 years or something like that. And it's a problem. It's a problem that doesn't even exist. We fixed the problem that doesn't exist. We could have spent that money on something else. They're not voting. They're crazy. If they vote, they're setting themselves up to get caught.
Yeah,
Why would you do that?
I have a listen. I'm willing to give either side credit on any claim they make if I see evidence. I'm not a blind follower of the left or the right. If Trump shows evidence of that, I'm 100% behind him. But yeah, just to say that we got millions of people voting without providing any evidence of it, then how do you know? Then how do you know? So I don't know where to go with that.
Think about this, Tim. We have the Electoral College, right? I had a guy tell me we were sitting at flight school. Yeah, I saw a whole busload of illegal voters coming to vote, and they all voted in Arizona. What's that? 3 electoral votes? what the heck are they gonna do? They gonna do nothing.
I don't know. I can't speak on it. I do got to move it on because I'm going to move it a little faster today. But I do want to ask just before I go to get clarity from you, which is what I'm going to be asking all the callers. When it comes to violent rhetoric or jokes online, what are the rules?
The comedians who are known comedians, they say things that shock you. That's their act. If Trump can do it, anybody can do it. But I do think taste has to play a part. Do I think that you should joke about somebody getting killed? You should joke about somebody, because if he's talking about Kimmel never said, he talked about somebody dying.
Well, Kimmel did say that Melania was an expectant widow or something like that, indicating, Trump is 80, so he could be talking about old age, or he could be talking about an assassination. We don't know, and I know if it was a conservative,
to the worst.
Because if it was a conservative, they would be saying, no, it didn't mean any. If Greg Gutfeld made that same joke, it would be old age. It would have nothing to do with an assassination. But because Kimmel made it, now it's violent.
Right. And Karen said, well, Trump's speech is going to be loaded with, he's going to be shooting. She actually said, okay, is that violent?
Yes.
He's going to be shooting. He was going to be shot at.
Not to take the Charlie Kirk route, but you're taking that out of context. I got to move on, Gerald. As always, appreciate you coming in, man. Thank you.
Yeah, brother. Have a great one.
You too, by the way. And real quick, then, thank you. By the way, Dencal made a statement earlier I did want to point out, saying he was happy Robert Mueller died, the former head of the FBI. Trump did say, now that's not, I suppose that is not violent rhetoric, but it's close. I mean, I suppose it's kind of close to make reference to that. I don't know. I mean, he not only that, but he did the same thing. The guy who played Meathead in All in the Family or whatever, he kind of did it on him too. So that's why I'm asking, what are the rules? What can you say that is wrong versus what you can say? Because Trump is pointing out things that he think is wrong said about him, but he is known for saying a lot of stuff about others. We can talk about dumping shit on protesters. I don't know if we want to put the Obama as apes in there or whatever the case, but he does say a lot of things about people. He's constantly doing things where MAGA says that was just meant to be a joke. So what jokes are off limits? In the comments real quick, Will G says Trump and MAGA ain't shit. Appreciate that, Will G. He was staying at the hotel. Well, the problem is, they're using the fact that the assassin was at the hotel as a reason to build a ballroom. And it's pretty clear that they're promoting this ballroom because they're going to need taxpayer money. Remember, Trump said the ballroom was going to be built. There was going to be no taxpayer money needed. Now, all of a sudden, he's saying we should build the ballroom and things like that because they need the money from us. So which is it? Was people going to pay for it or not? I don't know about that one. Trump doesn't have a problem with undocumented immigrants. If he does, why does he keep marrying and hiring them? Sassy. Yikes. Tim, you know the rules. SGB, I'm asking you folks, what are the rules? Real quick before we go back to the box, tap the screen, get us on up to 20,000, if you will. Almost 300 of you in here. Tap the screen, let your thumbs not be lazy. Help your boy out with the hat and mustache, TikTok cap goals, if you will. I want to play the Carolyn Livy clip again, just because I heard it today, and the moment she said this, I knew that was going to be the topic for today because it really upset me. It really upset me to hear her saying this. And it really led me to ask that same question I'm asking over and over again about what are the rules?
Has faced more bullets and more violence than President Trump. This political violence stems from a systemic demonization of him and his supporters by commentators, yes, by elected members of the Democrat Party, and even some in the media.
Get us up to
This
20 now,
hateful
tap
and
the likes.
constant and violent rhetoric directed at President Trump day after day after day for 11 years has helped to legitimize this violence and bring us to this dark moment. Those who constantly falsely label and slander the president as a fascist, as a threat to democracy, and compare him to Hitler to score political points are fueling this kind of violence. The left-wing cult of hatred against the president and all of those who support him and work for him has gotten multiple people hurt and killed, and it almost did so again this weekend. When you read the manifesto,
I don't get that. He said it, the rhetoric from the Democrats are almost getting people. Why are we to assume that Democrat rhetoric, first of all, let me just say this. We need to know what was going on in this guy's life. Was his dad a farmer and he's losing his farm because of some of Trump's policies? I mean, was he married to an immigrant that is now getting deported because of President Trump? Why are we just assuming automatically on face value that this guy is acting based on rhetoric on television or rhetoric in the newspapers or on the internet? Something may be personally happening in his life that Trump is responsible for. Maybe his mom worked for the federal government and she just got fired after 20 years for no reason at all because of Elon Musk and Doge. Why is it automatically assumed that he's acting because of the left? This is the same with all of these folks. Anytime somebody comes after Trump, the automatic assumption is left-wing rhetoric has something to do with it. What is going on in his life is what needs to be asked. Just like the guy who took out Charlie Kirk, left-wing rhetoric did it. Turns out the guy had a transgender lover or partner. The right is very anti-trans. Got nothing to do with the Democrat rhetoric. It could be his policies that are causing that. It could actually be legislation coming from Trump that's causing that. So as opposed to just blaming one side for their rhetoric, you need to find out what's going on in the guy's life. They were blaming the left for what happened the night it happened. So looking in the comments, can't believe a liberal is not wanting accountability. Something's never changed. Stevie D, what do you mean? Can't believe a liberal is not wanting accountability. Some things never change. I don't get where the accountability, not wanting accountability is. If I say, let's find out what is going on in the guy's life, we're going to hold that to account. Look, somebody tries to take out a left-wing politician or a right-wing politician and you're yelling out his rhetoric less than 24 hours after it. What's going on in the guy's life? That may have something to do with it. Like, let's say Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's receiving death threats and all kinds of things like that. She had to, I believe she shut down her business or something like that. One of her children or something does something stupid. It got nothing to do with left-wing rhetoric. He did something that affected her life. So it ain't always about rhetoric. I believe the individual in Minnesota last year that took out 2 state legislators in that state, they were Democrat legislators. I believe he acted because they were in favor of some kind of legislation that affected him. It ain't always got nothing to do with rhetoric. President Trump is doing controversial shit as president. So it might be something he personally did or said that affected the guy. The press needs to shut the hell up about Trump being a damn Nazi. Here's what I don't get. And by the way, are we at 20,000? We'll take the next caller at 20,000. Tap the screen, get the likes up. You heard Carolyn Levitt, this individual saying, shut the hell up about Trump being a Nazi. You heard Carolyn Levitt says, rhetoric like calling him a fascist, saying he's a threat to democracy and comparing him to Hitler, which is what my viewer is saying. Let me ask this question. What's the difference between calling Trump a fascist and calling Biden or Obama a socialist? Neither are favorable. What's the difference? There was no shortage of folks calling Obama and Biden socialists. Okay, so now they're calling Trump fascist. All of a sudden the fascist comment is wrong? But it was okay to call them socialists or commies. I think a lot of folks on the right call the Democrats communists as well. Communists have been our enemies since World War II ended. We've been in a Cold War with the Soviet Union damn near up to the Reagan era. And they're calling the left socialists and communists. What's the difference? It's and I see in the comments Sass says freedom of speech. I agree with freedom of speech, but if you're gonna say it's wrong to call Trump a fascist, but you're yelling out the other side, or there's not been a Democrat president, Clinton, Obama, Biden, none of them claim to be a socialist or a communist, but the right is saying that about them. So what's the difference? She also says it's wrong to keep saying he's a threat to democracy. Isn't Trump saying the Democrats stole a whole fucking election from him? What's the difference? One is a threat to democracy, the other stole an election. What are the rules is what I'm asking. What are the rules? Because Trump is saying he's been wronged, and there are a lot of similarities that Trump was involved
of the
in
shooter.
going to the
Ask
other
yourselves,
side.
How different?
So that's the point. What are the rules? Let me go back to the box. I don't know what the rules are. And I want to learn them from you. We'll make it happen with $1 billion. Help your boy out with the hat and mustache TikTok cap goes. A lot of lazy fingers are here today. Show your program some love. $1 million. Good evening.
How's it doing? How's it going?
I don't even know, man. What the hell are the rules? Because the Trump administration is complaining that they're being wrong due to rhetoric, but they do deliver a lot of rhetoric as well. So what are the rules?
Well, the rules are whatever MAGA says the rules are, right? Like they want to be able to control the narrative when they want. When they get a taste of their own medicine, when we kind of give them that energy that they put out, they don't like it. So then, they're the victims when it's convenient. So whenever whenever it's time for them to be the victims, it's, the left's a big bad guy. But when it's them on the other side, when it's Nancy Pelosi's husband, Paul Pelosi, they can make jokes, right?
Yeah.
I remember Trayvon Martin, Mike Brown. I remember they were making jokes on Twitter with the Skittles and the iced tea, It's comedy and jokes are good and fun when they're the aggressors. But when it's the other side, they don't like it. So I guess that's the rules, is whatever they say the rules are.
Yeah, because I'm trying to figure out if Carolyn Levitt is right in suggesting that it is Democrat rhetoric that put Trump at risk when, as you and I are discussing, Trump is responsible for authoring a lot of rhetoric himself. So do they not see this?
It's funny. I've been on a couple of lives and I've heard this talking point brought up about Democrat rhetoric. When you press a lot of these MAGA people, usually the people they point out are people on Twitter, people on TikTok lives, saying comments.
That's a good point.
When us on the left, when we point out rhetoric from the right, we can go directly to the president of the United States. Yeah. We can go directly to the leadership of Congress. The president himself, right now, he can tone down the rhetoric and just say, hey, everyone needs to stop. But he doesn't.
Well, just in defense of MAGA, I'm going to bring up Maxine Waters has said things about getting in people's face. I believe Ilhan Omar has said a few things that are hostile. None of them at the presidential level. I think Biden, if Biden made even one sentence, maybe. But yeah, there's no Democratic president that said anything anywhere near as hostile and as often as President Trump. But there has been some Democrat Congress that have made statements.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you, but I kind of look at the actions that are taken by the constituents afterwards. Even when Maxine Waters said that, what really went on? You just had a bunch of people yelling, right? But I can't let her get away with that. If somebody says something violent about you and nobody acts upon it, that doesn't take away from the fact that you said it. She said some violent shit. When she promoted some violence, Maxine Waters out of California did, but nobody acted on it. And by the way, I think some people did kind of do that. But what did she specifically say? I thought she was
get up in their face. Like if you see Sarah Huckabee Sanders was out eating somewhere, people who supported the administration, when you see them out in public, get up in their face and hold them accountable, stuff like that. Not talking about taking their lives or beating the hell out of them, but you're still kind of blocking them from moving around or, blocking their path or just making their night disgusting.
Yeah, I can concede that too. I can agree with that. Maybe she could have been a bit more responsible,
Yeah.
how she worded that. But I still don't think that takes away from the years that we've been hearing MAGA, and honestly, even before MAGA, I come from a conservative household.
Mhm.
I was always hearing things about Obama being a socialist.
Yeah.
Back in 2010. This is before Maxine Waters was even making any kind of speeches. So they were calling him a socialist. They were calling him a jihadist, right?
Yeah.
They were. MAGA's been stern. And, okay, let me rephrase that. That wasn't even MAGA. There was no MAGA.
Now that was the Tea Party, which has morphed into MAGA for the most. That was the Tea Party.
And
I think that started when he said to the late Joe the plumber, sometimes you got to spread the wealth around. He was talking about universal health care. They ran with that as socialist policies and just deemed the whole guy and then later the whole party as socialists.
Yeah, I mean, you can even go back to even before Trump was even thinking about running for president. What did he do? He undermined President Barack Obama's presidency by saying he wasn't born in the country, right? So, I mean, they have been stirring the pot before MAGA was even a thing. And we're at the point now where it said, okay, well, listen, you want to play? Let's play. Let's match the energy. And hey, let's make some jokes, right? Comedy is back. That's the positive thing about Trump being president.
Comedy is back. Comedy is back.
So let's make some jokes. Now that we all want to have fun, now what's the problem? Now we all can't make some jokes? No, we're making jokes. I hate to say it, but that's just what it's going to be. The country is sick of this administration. We could see they've lost every special election since Trump has taken office. So, it is going to be what it's going to be. That's just how I see it.
I got to get some MAGA on here because I would love to hear their take. By the way, if you are MAGA, we're on TikTok, Substack, and Instagram. The Handsome Liberal across all platforms. We don't block, ban, or censor you. So it doesn't matter what your opinion is. You will be allowed to say it to its entirety. Get you plenty of time just like everybody else. But because I would like to hear from them. I mean, I think the Democrats are going to probably be fairly in unison on how this looks because I'm hearing Carolyn Levitt as I've been playing a few times there, and I'm like, what the hell are the rules? Fascist is wrong. I mean, Trump has said Democrats hate America. What's the difference between that and people calling him a fascist? I mean, he has literally said Democrats hate America. So yeah, he's crying that he's being attacked while literally launching attacks. So yeah, when I heard it, I'm like, what the fuck is this? You doing all of this stuff?
Yeah, I mean, we can play video of him calling Kamala Harris a fascist. It's on tape. He said it a couple of times. So, I mean, again, it's going to be tit for tat with these people. Anytime they are on the ropes, they're the victims. And, we've been here before. And playing nice got us nowhere. I would argue, being nice got us a lost election in 2024. People had enough.
I don't think being nice got you a lost election. I think you put in a bad candidate. I think Kamala Harris was not a good candidate. I mean,
you know what? I think that when Michelle Obama came out during the DNC Democratic National Convention, and she was saying how she always used to have this saying, when they go low, we go high.
Yeah.
I think that 2024
makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, when they go low, we go high is being nice, and you're right. With President Trump, if you do not have TDS, as they say, or you do not attack Trump, then you're just going to be a punching bag. Not attacking Trump does not mean he's not going to attack you. That just means you're standing there and taking it. If the Democrats stop attacking Trump, he's still going to come up and find things you've done to make you look bad. So you're just going to be a punching bag at that point.
Yeah, I mean, but even if you don't attack Trump, they're going to say that you're attacking Trump, right? Like and no matter what you do, they're going to turn it around to where he's the victim. That's what they're going to do. It can just be legitimate critique, and it's going to be, well, you're just attacking him. And I've seen you on panels before, and you do a really good job on MAGA panels.
Thank you.
How many times have you gone on there, you just gave legitimate criticisms, and it turned into, you just don't like him, you just hate him, you're just attacking him, right?
I got TDS is what they say. If you attack Trump, you got, and that's what TDS is, by the way, for folks who may wonder. You'll never hear anybody that likes Trump having TDS. Anytime somebody has TDS, it means you're insulting them. You can't be deranged and like Trump simultaneously, even if you put a tattoo of his face on your forehead. You're not deranged. You only can be deranged when you dislike him. So I don't know where that shit. I mean, that sounds like this shit right here. What are the rules? With derangement syndrome, what are the rules? I don't know, but it seems like they're making up this stuff as they go along.
Yeah, they're absolutely making it up as they go along. But like I said, this is my motto. Comedy is back, right? That was one of their biggest things. They said when Trump won the presidency, comedy is back. We can make jokes again, make comedy great again. So why don't we make comedy great again? Why don't we do it?
Because it could lead to shit like what Trump and Carolyn Leavitt is talking about. Let me ask it to you this way. Should anything be off limits? I mean, you've seen the picture of Biden hogtied in the back of a pickup truck that Trump actually posted on his own damn account, and Trump said that this was a joke. I mean, this is kidnapping. Should anything be off limits?
Sometimes you have to be willing to give respect to the people that they're willing to give respect back. And listen, the respect you give to me is the respect I'll be willing to give back to you.
Fair enough.
So like I said, if you guys want to make the rules, they can make the rules and we'll just play by them. Because, I haven't seen anything as egregious as what MAGA's been saying or doing, from myself personally.
Listen, at this point, I'm not in any position to disagree because, like I said, I'm literally baffled as to what they want the rules to be. I mean, I had a guy just a few minutes ago said the picture of Biden hogtied is not that bad because at least he's not dead.
Yeah, it's crazy. And the funny thing is that picture there, the guy who drives that truck, he actually lives near where I live. That picture was taken on Long Island, New York.
Wow, he's driving around New York with that shit?
Well, Long Island's a little different than New York City.
All right, fair enough.
It's a bit different, yeah. So they have, they have MAGA patches in Long Island, but yeah, that's exactly where that guy is, and Trump happened to take a picture of it and post it. I mean, I would think this is pretty egregious, but
yeah, this guy, you're telling me the man is 83. He has dementia, according to Trump. Don't even know where he's at. Can barely string together a sentence. So the guy is, according to Trump, dementia is mentally ill. And you're okay with taking a mentally ill man and hogtie? And this is supposed to be funny. MAGA saw this and apparently busted out in laughter.
Yeah, and I think during that time, a lot of people on the left, liberals, like whatever you want to call it, a lot of people were kind of like, really taken aback at those kind of scenes. But MAGA has desensitized a lot of us to, egregious comments and egregious comedy, to where now we see that and we don't really react to it as much because MAGA has desensitized this whole country by all of the egregious things that they've been saying over the past few years.
And I have yet to hear any MAGA even suggest that this was wrong. Like I said, they were adamant. Hey, it's just a joke. You guys are snowflakes. You can't take it. It's just a joke is the way MAGA viewed it. So I don't know. But like I said, I got to get some MAGA on here to try to get one of them to help me understand it. Because, I'm with you. It doesn't make any sense. Or better yet, I'm questioning, where do we draw the line? What kind of jokes are acceptable against the president and what are not? So we'll see what's up. Appreciate
you for having me up.
Anytime. Thank you very much. All right, moving on with the program, by the way. Help your boy out to TikTok. Cap, hat, mustache, go. We're trying to move it on a little faster, get more callers in here. You're speaking to MAGA, Tim says, love the cruise. I need to get MAGA on the box. I want to hear listen, my MAGA reacts, my Julios, Gen X, none of them are on right now today. Straight Talk Commerce, who believes that Trump's face should be on all four faces of Mount Rushmore and that he's never told a lie in his life. I need guys like that. I need to figure out where the line is, what is acceptable. And we'll look in the comments real quick because we do have MAGA watching the program in the comments. Tap the screen if you're watching on YouTube, smash that like button. Helps out the algorithm, and it does bring in more MAGA. If you're watching on YouTube, smash that like button. If you happen to be watching us on Instagram, TikTok, or Substack, follow the program. If you're watching on YouTube, give your boy a sub. In the comments, the only false narrative being pushed is thinking Republicans with Democratic ideologies are trying to assassinate Trump. Republicans with Democratic ideologies. Who the hell would that even be? He said the only false narrative being pushed is thinking Republicans with Democratic ideologies are trying to assassinate. I don't even know any Republicans with Democratic ideologies. And continuing on, Mr. G says MAGA ain't shit. Says it's hilarious that they only understand political ideology when they've been denying the Goldwater Party switch. I had what is his name? Lumberjack or whatever. He's Black MAGA. He was on just today talking about the alleged money going from the Southern Poverty Law Center to the KKK and using that as an example that the party switch never happened. Listen, we've talked about it before. I won't get too deep into the Southern Poverty Law Center what do you want to call it, scandal, unless you guys want to talk about that when you come up. But my take on the Southern Poverty Law Center scandal is simple. They've been indicted by the justice system. They have to be given their day in court. The right is just assuming the indictment is 100% accurate, guilty until proven innocent. They're actually disputing the stuff that they're being indicted for. So they are entitled to their day in court. So until they receive their day in court, I'm not just going to convict them of everything the Justice Department is saying. Remember, Trump got indicted. You didn't take his indictments at face value. When Trump got indicted, you thought the DOJ was weaponized, couldn't be trusted. Now all of a sudden it's Trump's DOJ and they become a prayer book. I want you to think about that. In the comments here, yes, Republicans with Democrat ideals mean they believe in God's policies. You're not worth the time for MAGA. You would just spin it to fix your narrative. Says what? Okay, well, I would love to talk to you, but if I'm not worth your time, I'm not worth your time. I appreciate your input, by the way. Not Father. Trump idolizes gangsters, but the closest he will ever be is the not Father. I don't know what that means. Why does he have a shrine for MAGA? There's no shrine. What is a shrine? I got a MAGA hat behind me. That's about it. There's no shrine for MAGA. Anyway, continuing on, are we at the 30,000 mark? Tap the screen, get the likes on up. Here's an oldie, but a goodie coming from President Trump. I brought a lot of these clips up because we are talking about rhetoric that could potentially lead to adverse action.
So I got a little notice in case you see the security guys, civil security guys. They said, Mr. Trump, there may be somebody with tomatoes in the audience. So if you see somebody getting ready to throw a tomato, knock the crap out of them, would you? Seriously. Okay? Just knock the hell. I promise you, I will pay for the legal fees. I promise. I promise.
Is there any chance he's promoting violence with that statement? We are talking about violent rhetoric, if you will. Do you think that statement promotes violence? That came from Trump in his first term.
It's essential that Congress fund another 10,000 ICE officers, and we're asking for that, so that we can eliminate MS-13 and root out the criminal cartels from our country. Now, we're getting them out anyway, but we'd like to get them out a lot faster. And when you see these towns, and when you see these thugs being thrown into the back of a paddy wagon, you just see them thrown in, rough. I said, please don't be too nice. Like when you guys put somebody in the car and you're protecting their head, you know, the way you put their hand over, like, don't hit their head and they've just killed somebody, don't hit their head. I said, you can take the hand away, okay?
So he's literally telling a group of graduating officers to make violent arrests. I mean, and I believe the police chief in this particular event actually corrected this with his officers. Like, he's telling you when you put an arrestee in the back of the pickup truck, police car, to literally bang their head against the car. I mean, that's what he's telling the cops, to do that. And you kind of wonder if any of that rhetoric was trickled down to ICE and immigration officials, because that's what he's telling them, is to bang their head against the car. Now, like I said, we're talking about violent rhetoric, right?
He called me a traitor, and that is That is so extremely wrong. And those are the types of words used that can radicalize people against me and put my life in danger.
And in regards to her saying, because obviously, you know, what is the punishment for being a traitor? I think death, isn't it? Can't you be killed for being if you're convicted of that? But anyway, he's calling her a traitor. Obviously, she has nothing to do with the Liberal Party. There's nothing liberal about Marjorie Taylor Greene at all. And he was asked about her claims that people are threatening to kill her.
Her life could be in danger because of the rhetoric.
Her life is in danger? Who's that?
Marjorie Taylor Greene, because...
Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't think her life is in danger. Frankly, I don't think anybody cares about her.
That's cold. That's cold. Somebody that did all of that. I believe she was one of the ones that raised a lot. One of the ones that raised a good chunk of money for Trump's campaign to help him get elected. And here she is saying that you calling me a traitor has led to dangerous rhetoric. He basically said nobody even cares about you. Remember, we're talking about violent rhetoric. What are the rules? What are the rules? I don't get it. Let me go back to the box. We'll make it happen with a pimp named Furback. Good evening. Welcome to the program. He made attacking women, journalists, and everyone perceived as your enemy as open season. I can kill a man in Times Square. Nothing would happen. Again, not said by Democrats. That is true. Democrats did not say that. Pimp named Furback. Good evening.
What's up, Tim? How you doing?
I don't even know, man. What are the rules when it comes to this rhetoric? Because Trump is saying violent rhetoric has led to folks trying to take him out.
Yeah, he's full of shit, man. I mean, he's full of shit. I mean, like I said, if it was anyone else, it would almost be sad, man. But the last time, the AI ear scratch, you know, it's like...
Oh, come on now. You need to stop that. What are you saying? Look, the assassination attempt in Butler, Pennsylvania, you're not trying to tell me that didn't happen, right?
Man, just like this last shit, it's been looking funny to me the whole time, brother.
So what are you saying? This one that just happened at the White House Correspondence Dinner is possibly not legit as well?
Well, I'll tell you this. You got a vehicle, right, Tim?
Yeah.
You have a vehicle?
Yes.
Okay, so if you keep parking...
Motion detected at the front yard camera.
If you keep parking your vehicle under a certain tree, and every time you do, someone steals your radio, are you gonna still park your damn car right there?
Probably not. I've had that happen in real life, but go ahead.
But even if you do, I would assume you would take some extra precaution to make sure something like that wouldn't happen again, right?
Yes, I would. Motion detected in front camera, so to speak. Yeah, I would do that.
Right. So like I said, at this point, we on number 3. So we're gonna wait for the baker's dozen before we say, okay, let's get more attention to this matter. As he likes to say, you know, pay more attention to this matter. Brought to you by DJT.
Oh my God!
I mean, what we gonna do, man?
Yeah, I don't know. I have a hard time believing Trump is making up fake assassination attempts. And the reason I'll tell you what, and I get the notion that there may be ways to grift off of it. I understand what people are saying, and I want you to tell me why you think he would do it. But before you do, look, the man makes enemies for breakfast. It is very believable that people will want to off him. I mean, you see what Marjorie Taylor Greene is saying and the likes of Liz Cheney. I mean, there's a lot of Republicans that don't like him. I mean, so, you know, any president is going to pass legislation and policies that are going to make people not like him. You there?
My bad.
Okay. Yeah, any president is going to have legislation, policies, and laws that are going to make people not like him. But this one not only does a lot of things, but then he pokes fun at the people that are affected by it. So I think it might be real that people are trying to hit him.
Yeah, I mean, it may be. I mean, but like I said, this is number 3. You know, if it's so fucking real, you know, and of course that video was AI'd up, but if any inkling of that video is fucking true, so someone can just get that close to the man, I mean, This is number 3. I mean, I don't understand it. Like I said, man, I'm like you. I would hate to assume that something like that happened, but we got to call a fucking duck a duck when we see it.
Well, I don't want nothing bad to happen to the man whatsoever, but I do believe that, like I said, you can only have so many enemies, man. I mean, you can't just keep. I mean, you got half the country pissed off with you. Now you're starting to have a small contingent of MAGA that's pissed off with you, and you've already said fuck the world. I mean, at some point, something could go wrong. You're pissed off with all of NATO. Really, our only ally right now under President Trump is probably Israel. Maybe what's left of the guy down in Hungary who lost his presidential bid. There was another leader down in Brazil or Chile somewhere that's in prison for trying to stage a coup. Under Trump, we don't have many allies. Everybody's a fucking enemy. So
isolation. I mean, isolation. That's what it looks like. I mean, people call DEI. This whole fucking cabinet is DEI because the only qualification was loyalty.
Well, Marco Rubio's qualified. I mean, he got some qualified people there.
But he wouldn't be there if he wasn't willing to bend the knee and kiss his ass.
Yeah, he does.
He had qualified people the last time around.
True.
But some of them just willing to bend the knee and kiss his ass. You know what I mean? So this is what it looks like. There's no guardrails, there's no stop signs. That's why people say no kings and liken them to a dictator. I mean, people like, a law is not a law unless you have the enforcement behind it. We have no checks and balances.
Well, speaking of laws and enforcements, we're only a handful of days away from Congress having to speak out on whether or not the Iran conflict can continue. They have to. Right now, they've just been letting him do it, but they have to speak out in a few days. Do you think they will stop what's going on, or do you think they will continue empowering them by declaring war?
They're going to do whatever he asks them to do. And that's the problem. I mean, like I said, MAGA look at it as like, oh, he got all the right people in there. Unchecked fucking authority or any kind of power is dangerous.
So you think that they're just willing to let him do whatever, no matter what that may be?
Yeah, I mean, I've said before that we have more evidence that he did something salacious in those Trump files than we do about the people he blowing up on fucking boats. We have more evidence about the Trump files than we do about the damn boats. But he just willy-nilly out there blowing them the fuck up. So to your point, with a guy with that kind of attitude, do some shit like maybe an AI ear scratch? I wouldn't say that's a far stretch.
An AI ear scratch. Somebody died in Butler, Pennsylvania. A pimp. Somebody actually died there. By the way, tap the screen, folks. Get your boy at the 40,000. Hip hop with the hat, mustache, TikTok cap goes as I always ask. But somebody died in Butler, Pennsylvania. That was a real attempt on the man's life.
Uh-huh. And there's not one Trump that's ever served in the United Forces or Armed Forces. And this man got in front of us on national TV and said, some people gonna have to die.
Yeah. Yeah, and I see the comments. Takesha said that they died. Yes, in Butler, Pennsylvania, somebody did die. Yes, a fireman was killed. Yeah, somebody did die. So to me, having an actual death makes it harder to think that what happened in Pennsylvania was not legitimate. Otherwise, we got to suggest that they actually fucked up and killed somebody in that prank. I mean, I don't think it was a prank though. I think that you had an inexperienced sniper trying to take out our president.
And we have a president that just showed us that someone else's life is not worth shit to him. I mean, he showed us this time and time again. So I hear what you're saying, Tim, but I'm also saying that I don't put shit past this guy right here. He's giving me no reason to think so. I love your spiel when you say, hey, hang in there, guys. It's going to turn around. It's not going to fucking turn around. He got damn near 2.5 years. You're going to tell me there's nothing he can do to correct our situation? Yeah. I'm telling you. What proof we have in his past that that's what the fuck he does?
Well,
what proof do we have?
Well, first of all, the man says the tariffs are going to bring in a ton of money. If he's right, there's some proof. If he gets to control the Strait of Hormuz and charge taxes by holding Iran at bay, We could make a ton of money there. I mean, there are ways if he don't keep all the money himself, we could be doing well. I mean, he actually has a lot of plans to bring in money to the country. We just have to make sure he actually shares it with the people. He might keep it. That's where the problem is.
Exactly. And that's my point, Tim. What proof do we have that this is going to turn around? He showed me nothing. I mean, I get it that people want to be optimistic and, you know, but I've seen enough, man. I've seen 5 years of this shit show, and I'm telling you, you know.
Yeah, but you say 5 years. His first term was not that. You say 5 years. His first term was not that bad. That's why he got reelected.
No, he got reelected probably because we could have ran a better, you know, opponent. And I give it to you.
Thank you.
Bigotry and racism is still alive as well. I mean, there was a lot of that.
I don't disagree that some of that exists. So you're agreeing with me that this was a bad candidate. This woman was a bad candidate.
I think at the time, yeah. It took me a while to get
there. All right. We getting somewhere. We getting somewhere. Because I get hammered for that.
I think under any other conventional election, quote unquote, should be a damn good candidate. But not against this asshole.
Well, I think if she had more time and she had better advisors, because you just can't say when Biden poll numbers are in the tank that you wouldn't do anything different than Biden. Somebody should have advised her. You can't, I mean, just like Trump said a bunch of things that were unpopular, and then he had enough time. Well, I didn't really mean grab him by the pussy in real life. That was just locker room talk. He had time to correct shit. She didn't have but 100 and some odd days, so anything she said that was bad, that's what she had to take into the election. Trump had time to correct that shit. So if she was running for office for 2 years or so, kind of like they normally do, yeah, she probably would have been a much better candidate. She would have been more seasoned.
Yeah, I mean, I give you that. I mean, I voted for her. I thought she definitely could do it. I just think in the mudslinging arena that she was in, that just wasn't her realm, you know what I mean, to be honest. Also, you know, I think people who are not melanated or not African Americans, we got to carry ourselves in a different way. You know what I mean? There's no way she could have got it. Well, maybe
Jasmine Crockett? Are you suggesting Jasmine Crockett style?
I mean, that didn't work. You know what I'm saying? I love Jasmine Crockett. I think she's exactly what we need. The only problem is she don't have blue eyes and she don't have blonde hair.
So you kind of agree with what I said on many lives, is that the Democrats need to propel to stardom a straight white Christian male as their next candidate.
No, I mean, they could, but nothing's going to change. I mean, these straight white men have been fucking up shit since we started this fucking place. So, I mean, if you want to win, yeah, but if you want some fucking change, no. That's
I don't know. Bill Clinton, did he really fuck up shit in the eyes of the Democrats?
No, Bill Clinton, I mean, he was a corporatist. You know what I mean? I call it what it is, man. You know, a lot of people disagree with me, but the reason why some of these MAGAs say they voted for Obama is because Obama was a Reagan fucking Republican in my eyes.
Obama was a Reagan Republican? What the fuck? You got to explain that.
I mean, besides the social issues, I mean, the way he handled business, bailed out banks, you know, he was all for the corporates. I mean, there's no difference.
Obama, I don't see anything, any similarity between those two at all. Obama was a Reagan.
But because the problem is we've gone so far to the fucking right that people think Obama was a leftist. He was probably more center right than he is, left to me.
No. Obama was talking civil rights. Obama was damn near promoting reparations. Center right, Obama?
But he bailed out the banks, didn't he?
That's all you got? You got anything? Give me something else.
The automotive. He bailed out the automotive.
You know how many people of color work at automotive plants and shit? He was keeping people employed.
He was keeping those businesses that was too big to fail afloat.
Okay, so
a true leftist, a true fucking person that's all about capitalism, man. You let them fall as they may.
So you're telling me, let's say Bernie Sanders, he absolutely is not a Reagan guy in your eyes, right? Would he have
Not at all.
Would he have let the banks and the auto industry just implode?
He He would have, I believe.
And you think that would have been good for the economy?
In the long run, yes.
You don't have long run as a president. You got 48 years. That shit's going to happen under your watch. You may do what's best to fix it, but the next guy's going to get credit for that, not you.
But what president did is set, though. That's what I'm saying. The same thing with the guy we got in office right now. What president are we setting? You see what I'm saying? You got to fucking... So, you know, you talked before like things are going to change after Trump. Yeah, they're going to change. There's no way you're going to get in front of the American people and say the only qualifications I need is loyalty.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of making loyalty your number one quality. No, that is a problem, but that is our president. I got to move it on, pimp. When you Obama a Reagan, that's where you kill me. I don't know about that one. I saw the audience disagreed as well, but come on back anytime. I appreciate you coming through, man.
It's cool, man. Hey, tap the screen. This is Fur the Great, by the way, man.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, so, you know, but tap the screen, share the live. You know, this is the best live on damn TikTok. Do your thing, brother.
Shit. Appreciate that compliment. Thank you. And by the way, folks, help spin that off. Help your boy out with the TikTok cap, hat, mustache go. Very little of that today. Even more funny that we still don't know everything about the two prior assassins. And we're tight-lipped on info, but they let cold aliens info reign. I don't get that last part. James Harper, appreciate the love. Thank you very much, James Harper. Now we don't know much about the two prior assassins. One of them is deceased. One of them is doing life in prison. But no, they didn't tell you much about them. You haven't heard much about them at all. That's what I said. No info on the first two, says Shanti. No, they haven't. But listen, the Democrats, the media can do investigations on these folks. If Nick Shirley can go and take apart Minnesota, the Democrat media and Democrat politicians can do. I mean, you know who they are. Go interview some of their family members and shit like that. The great Lola. Her name was Lola. Appreciate that. Thank you for the hat and mustache. Thank you. So it ain't like because you haven't heard much about the folks that tried to take Trump out, the one in Mar-a-Lago and the one in Butler, Pennsylvania. The Democrats aren't doing their job. If you think for some reason that it's a bullshit case, they could go interview them folks, their families, their parents, because if Trump's administration is pinning assassinations on people's kids, uncles, fathers, and relatives and they didn't do it, those families will speak out. Those families will say, my son, my daughter, or my son, my dad would never do that. They would say something. I mean, just like the guy who took out Charlie Kirk, Tyler Robinson, I think his name is. His family could step up and say, my son wouldn't have never done that. You don't hear him saying that. So Lou across the world says they paid him off. You think you could pay off? So I could pay off your wife, mom, dad, to let people think you're a cold-blooded killer? I could actually pay somebody else in your own family would do that to you. Blue One Banks, thank you for the galaxy. Appreciate that. I don't heard about none of them going to jail. I don't want to hear no court cases, Tim. What do you mean you don't want to hear them? Looking in the comments, one has to be some kind of dumb to go to a place with high security with a shotgun and a pistol. Well, if you don't expect to get out, and keep in mind, this guy ran through and ended up shooting one cop, and I don't know how he lived. If there is one thing to question, and tap the screen, get us up to 50,000. We'll take the next caller momentarily. If you're watching on YouTube, I need you to smash that like button. We're here most weekdays. We don't block, ban, or censor. So my YouTube viewers, smash that like button. If there's one thing to question, to suggest it doesn't look like it's a legitimate hit job, how the hell could this guy run into an event like that, allegedly shoot a cop in the chest, and not get shot himself? That's fucking amazing. I'm not saying it was staged, it was created, anything. I'm saying that don't happen. That doesn't. You actually shot a cop in a room full of cops and Secret Service and FBI, and nobody fired at you? Well, nobody hit you? That's That was hard to swallow. That one is hard to swallow because normally you are Swiss cheese if you do some shit like that. How did he end up not getting wounded at all? And I see somebody said a cop shot a cop. Well, whatever the case may be, he clearly was armed. He clearly, what is his name? Alex Pretty. He did significantly less than what this guy did. And they put all kinds of rounds in that man in the back. I would submit to you that the woman out there too. What is the woman's name? Nicole Good or something in Minnesota. Both of them, they did significantly less than what this guy did, and they got shot the fuck up. How does this guy run past all of these cops with a gun and not get hit? Like I said, I'm not saying it's staged, but that's the question to ask. Anyway, looking in the comments, come on, man, this administration is on one. They are creating narratives and acting them out, says old boy King. I don't know. I'm just saying. We'll go back to the box and we'll make it happen with Be Honest for once. That's a hell of a name. Fake news doesn't talk about his skin color because he's not white. Does it matter what his skin color is? I don't recall hearing a lot about the guy who took out Charlie Kirk's skin color, because all of a sudden it's a person of color that does it. Now we need to talk about skin color. The guy who tried to take him out at Mar-a-Lago, I don't remember hearing a lot about his skin color. The same thing with the guy that was on the roof in Portland, Pennsylvania. They didn't say much about his skin color. You seen a picture of what he looked like and that was it. Now all of a sudden, because this dude had curly hair and looked like he was a person of color, you want to talk about the skin color all of a sudden? What happened? Be honest. Good evening.
Hey, I don't think it was a thing about skin color. I think it was a thing about mental illness that was propagated by the radical left that really drove this guy. Listen to me, bro. Listen to me, handsome. The radical left drove this guy to what he did.
In what way? How? How can the radical left drive him to doing this?
I think you have to answer me that question.
I didn't say it. You the one that said the shit. I gotta explain your statement. I don't even agree with it. How did the radical left drive a man to kill? I don't believe it.
I'm glad he said it 3 times, because I think we need to hear it 3 times to why the media and the American public think that Donald John Trump is a racist and he hates all black people and he wants to do all that kind of stuff, and he does not. And then when the media indoctrinates people and says he's a racist and a pedophile, which he's never been accused of, and also a so many charges that he's never been accused of. It would be like, imagine if that were you, bro, and they fucking said that, you know? I mean, okay. And it wasn't true, and it didn't happen, and then they just, like, the media fucking... But I gotta, okay, so...
You said the same thing over...
Wait, let me finish, please. And then the media propagates this and says that that's who this person is. Just imagine that I'm saying, bro, if it were them saying that against you or me, how the fuck we would react. Okay, I'm done.
Okay.
I'll listen.
Fair enough. Now, I actually took notes of what you were saying about the radical left and the media's doing this. They're calling him a racist, saying he hates black people, saying he's a pedo. Now, you do realize they were saying, Biden, vote for me or you ain't black, the crime bill. They were calling Biden a racist on the right. You do realize that, right?
I actually personally believe that both both Hunter Biden and Joe Biden are racist. Yes,
Okay.
I do believe that.
Okay, and they
Yes.
do believe.
And
Hold on, hang on. Now let me finish.
I believe
Okay,
that.
hold on, hang on. I'll give you plenty of time. You know, I don't run from MAGA. I'm gonna let you talk plenty. But I'm simply saying you believe that Hunter and Biden is a racist. They believe Trump is a racist. You express your belief. They express their belief. What's the difference?
There's not much difference
Okay.
except that when the whole mainstream media thinks that Donald Trump does not like black people, and then you have a person with Martin Luther King's daughter coming out and saying he is not a racist. At that point, I mean, that was like fucking last week, you know? And I'm like, you motherfuckers are so fucking wrong, you know?
Yeah, but you. We'll go to the comment about him being a pedo and all this other stuff in a minute. But all I'm hearing is that both sides were being called something similar, and you just agree with it on the left and disagree with it on the right. I mean, because you're admitting they called Biden the same thing. You just agree with it on Biden and disagree with it on Trump.
Well, you didn't hear the Hunter Biden, the files that came. You guys haven't heard the files that came through to what he said about people of black heritage. So I'm thinking if a man can speak like that, then that is fucking common talk around the house.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
There's nothing wrong with you having that thought. Just like somebody would say that Trump saying Somalis are garbage, they would say that there's no way he would say that and like black people. I mean, Trump is
That has nothing to do.
in your opinion, though. You're trying to use the way you view things and suggest that everybody should view it the same way. There are plenty of folks on the left that think Trump is.
I don't think this saying Somalis are trash has anything to do with racism. Personally,
Okay.
I don't think. I do not think that has one thing to do against racism. I don't think that Somaliism has nothing to do with about black people or white people or nothing. You know, I have no idea what you're talking about. But
well, I'll tell you.
if you want to go there, you go there because you got to go there. Right?
Well, I'm going where you take me,
All right,
sir.
go there.
I will also suggest saying vote for me, you ain't black. Most black people don't think that's racist. So, I mean, you're hearing comments that Trump made, and they don't sound racist to you. A lot of stuff that people are accusing Biden of being racist, the African-American community is looking at this guy as appointing a black Supreme Court justice. He helped the first black president, put in the first black female vice president. They don't see him as racist like that. You do, but they don't.
Well, I don't have any problem with that personally myself. I mean, I know that Donald Trump supported Jesse Jackson in his presidential election to be a president of the United States for a long time. And if you're going to tell me that I'm wrong about that, talk up right now.
No, I'm not going to tell you you're wrong about it, but I am going to ask if you can cite him supporting Jesse Jackson for president as a reason that he's not racist, then Biden supporting Obama for president would be the same thing, right? Did I lose you?
No, you didn't.
Okay.
But you're playing connecting the dots. And if we're gonna play,
I'm going where you take me. That's all I'm doing. I am literally.
you know what, bro?
Okay, go ahead.
I love listening to you. I don't want to argue with you, but if you want to play this game, I do love playing connecting the dots. But I'm telling you the facts, and you know it. I mean, you can sit there and smile. You know the fucking truth, dude.
Okay. Let me give you another one.
I can look at you. You're laughing your ass off because you know the fucking truth.
No, I'm laughing because I'm laughing because you're saying things like, for instance, you mentioned them calling Trump. Hold on, I know the truth in what you're saying has a lot of similarities to Trump. Let me give you another one. You said they've been calling Trump a pedo. Didn't they say Biden was sniffing his daughter in the diary? Were they not calling Biden a pedo?
I was not. But
You were not. Okay. So we narrowed MAGA all the way down to just you.
I think a grandfather or a father that has a daughter that wants to give her a kiss, that that is the problem of the left, is they think that's pedophilia. I think it's love. When you have your granddaughter to give her a hug, that is love for me. That's not what you all think it is, but that's all right.
But you do admit that your side of the aisle was calling Bido a pedo, right?
They made claims about stuff about a memoir or some type of a file that they read that I don't know anything about, and I don't believe in. I really don't think that Joe Biden was that.
I get you. I'm not talking about you specifically. I'm asking.
If you're asking me as a man, I personally do not think that Joe Biden was that kind of guy.
Yeah, but what I'm asking you is, you do acknowledge that your party was calling Biden a pedo. You weren't doing it, but you do acknowledge your party was doing it.
They did that because they called Don the same thing,
Okay.
So it was kind of a tick for tack,
So
I think.
So in other words,
politically.
So I'm trying to figure out.
Politically, I think they ran it up. It was and people believed it. That were stupid. The stupid. Listen, fucking handsome. The stupid people believed it.
Who are the stupid people? You talking about MAGA?
No, the people that believe the shit about fucking Biden and the people that believe the shit about Trump. They were all stupid people.
Okay. But I think what you and I have come to an agreement on is most of the stuff you started out radical left media calling them a racist, hates black people, and calling them a pedo. That's what I know. See what you said. You are now. Hold on. Hang on. Let me.
I forgot to ask you the question.
Okay, you will get the answer. But hold on. Hang on. I might have to mute you. Hold on. Hang on. I made it.
You think Donald Trump is a pedophile?
Hold on. Hang on a second. I will let you speak, but you got to let me finish my sentence.
All right.
The point I'm making is, you started out, by my notes, you said the radical left, the media, they called him a racist, said he hates black people, and called him a pedo. During the course of our conversation over the last 10 minutes, you've now admitted that they've done all of that to Biden. What's your question?
Do you think Donald Trump is a pedophile?
I think the evidence is overwhelming that you can't just say no. You can't just say yes, he hasn't been proven to be one. But the way he's acting, suggesting that the Epstein list is a Democrat hoax. Why would he say that? Why would he say it's a Democrat hoax?
All right. That's all I want to hear.
All right.
You're on record, so that'll go down in history for you.
Well, it's going to go down in
history. Can I ask you a question?
You sure can.
Personally.
You sure can.
Are you a pedophile?
No, and I don't think Epstein's a Democratic hoax. You got another one?
No, that's it.
We'll end it here.
Thank you for answering me honestly. I think I've gathered the question about you and Trump, and then you and yourself. So,
all right.
You're on record, and I don't hold it against you or hold it for you. But as long as you believe what you believe, I think you're fucking deranged, dude. I really do.
All right, fair enough. This live is saved on YouTube. I'm on the record. You're anytime.
Deranged as fuck, dude.
All right.
You are. That's crazy.
What's your definition of deranged?
The fact that you can sit here and play both sides of the card, which you do for clout. Clout. That's what I'm getting out of this is clout.
All right, I'll take the deranged label. I'm not going to tattoo it on me, but I'll take it as. And you're welcome back on the program anytime.
But the good thing that you told me is you're not a pedo, so that's a good thing. Because if you did, I tell you what, it'd be all over with for you.
All right, fair enough.
You know that, right?
Yes, I know that. Fair enough. I got to move it on. You're welcome back anytime. Spirited debate, I think.
Thank you.
But come on back anytime.
I'm talking to you.
All right.
Thanks, buddy.
Happy to be deranged. Tap the screen, folks. Get the likes on up to 60,000. No, that ain't Gen X, Kevin. Kevin Diaz says, no, that's not Gen X. That was not Gen X. Gen X is MAGA. He's a Proud Boy. He's welcome on the program as well, but that was not Gen X. Tap the screen. Get us up to 60,000. Caller is drunk. Laughing my ass off. Somebody in the comment. Did he sound drunk? I didn't think he was inebriated. He was just passionate in his opinion. Mr. G says the political affiliations of these assassins were Republican. But MAGA will say they are Dems because they donated a few dollars to the Act Blue. The guy who just tried to take out Trump at the Correspondence dinner, he has Republican affiliation. I didn't even know that. Wow. I know the one that tried to take out Charlie Kirk is not a leftist. I do agree with you, Mr. G, that anybody that tries to take a hit on Trump, they just automatically call them leftists because it plays into the narrative. But as I mentioned earlier in the live is that there's a lot of reason for folks that lean right that may not like Trump. Maybe you voted for the guy, you have a farm, and some of his tariffs is causing you to lose your farm. So now you're broke. You're losing a family farm that's been in your family for generations. That might make somebody snap. You don't have to be liberal to not like Trump. Plenty of his policies has affected folks on the right and independents alike. You got plenty of Republicans that believe he was going to deport rapists and murderers, voted for Trump to secure our borders, and they ended up losing a spouse. Somebody that's been in the country 20, 30 years ended up losing a spouse or a relative behind that. You got actual MAGA out there that are missing their wives and shit. There's plenty of reason to not like the guy that has nothing to do with being leftist. How many folks got fired that were federal workers that probably voted for Trump? You think all of those federal workers that Elon Musk fired, you think they're all liberal? 100% of them? So, yeah, that's people 20, 30 years on the job. All of a sudden, they're being told you're getting fired for performance and you never even had a fucking performance review. You think all of them are liberals? So there's plenty of reason not to like the guy and you can still be on the right. People who voted for him. I like Tim, so you're pretty not threatening anyone, says be honest for once. Okay, appreciate that. Yes, Trump said in a speech the guy was from California. What do you think that means? You do realize, giant robot, outside of the major cities in California, that state has a lot of red to it. There's plenty of MAGA in California. There's plenty of MAGA in Illinois, outside of Chicago. There's plenty of MAGA in New York, outside of the major cities there. Being from California does not automatically denote you're a liberal. You guys got to get off of this shit. Look at the fucking map. After Trump won the election, look at the map. Look at where the blue is and look how fucking red the country is. Every state is mostly red. Yeah, there are rural counties. There's less population there. But every state has a hell of a lot of area that votes red. Being from California does not automatically mean you're liberal. Looking in the comments, real quick, tap the screen, get us on up to 60,000. By the way, if you're watching us on YouTube, I need you to smash that like button, some lazy thumbs. It doesn't cost you a cent. Smash the like button. We're here most weekdays. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. We are MAGA friendly, always have been, always shall be. You can be critical of anybody, including yours truly. We go left of Bernie Sanders, so I'm having dinner with Q. So everybody gets to speak. Don't fall into the Al-Qaeda, Nazi, Marxist, and apartheid trap. That's a mouthful. Don't know what you mean, though. MAGA stands for Make America Godly Again. Leftists hate it. I don't know. I mean, the left is always told they don't like God and things like that. And by the way, Trump also said, and I should have brought that up with my last caller, President Trump accused the Democrats of hating America. So I don't know where all of this claim that all that the horrible rhetoric is just aimed towards Trump. Trump releases a lot of tough and rough rhetoric towards others. So I don't know why all of a sudden he's just a sole victim. But I want to know from you guys, what are the rules? Takesha Bowie, good evening.
Hey, my team.
Hey. So Trump is saying he's being victimized by the left, hateful rhetoric, leading to folks trying to put hits out on his life. What say you?
Tim.
Yes, ma'am.
If the left didn't say a word and Trump kept talking, Trump would still be putting up these fake. I'm sorry, Tim. I just don't believe him. I don't believe what happened last night. I don't believe what happened in Butler. And I don't even believe what happened on the golf.
Come on now.
Tim,
somebody died in Butler.
Hold on, let me break this down. Tim, when was the fireman's funeral?
I don't know, but I know the fire department. The fire department gave him a tribute.
Was he brought up ever again?
No.
Okay. So let me tell you this, Tim. I'm not finna play with you with Butler, cause whatever. Last night, I'm gonna break this thing down to you like I break it down.
Before you break it down, baby. You're telling me our president is just making up fake assassination attempts right and left.
Yeah.
Break it down. I don't believe that, but break it down.
Okay. Usually when the president is coming to a state or going somewhere, they block off a certain perimeter.
True.
Well, some people can't even get to their house because they're locked out until he leaves because of the perimeter that they build to protect the president, okay? You're having an event at a Hilton hotel. Hilton knows you're coming because you've been talking about this for over a week that you're going to show up at this event.
Okay.
Hilton and the head of Secret Service are supposed to make sure that the Hilton is shut down and the Hilton is secured, where not just anybody can come in and go out of the Hilton because the president of these United States is going to be in attendance. Usually the elevators are shut down and all that because they don't want nobody to be able to get to the floor where the president is or anywhere near where the president is going. The elevators were working. There were no checkpoints. You were free to walk in and out of the hotel and into your room and out of your room as much as you wanted to. Okay. This guy was on the floor above the event when Secret Service got him. He wasn't even near the ballroom. Okay? Now, Tim, you're saying he pew-pewed a cop, but they said that they have no proof that it was him because they're thinking that one cop shot the other. Okay. Now, we're in this wonderful ballroom, Tim. Okay?
Okay.
You got one man, everybody on the ground. He's still eating potatoes. I guess that man said, my food ain't gonna get cold. I'm gonna go finish eating my food. While y'all on the ground, they trying to make sure that, everything's okay. Instead of them taking the first person that's most important to the Secret Service out, they take J.D. Vance out before they take the president of the United States out. They take Trump out. He failed. He get back up. He peeking at the curtain like the people.
Wait. He peeked out the curtain. Did that really happen?
He peeked out the curtain after they got him behind the curtain, Tim. Okay, wait a minute. RFK running through there like Forrest Gump. His poor wife a whole mile behind. He ain't even trying to help his wife. Melania and Caroline Levin, they all up under the table like they G.I. Jane waiting to come out in the combat.
Well, I will say this. Erica Kirk truly believed it was a real hit.
Baby, hold on. I ain't got on her yet. Let me finish. You wait till you get out of camera and say, I just want to go home. Well, go home. Because that's where you should have been anyway, baby. You said that women with children don't need to be CEOs and they need to be at home raising their children. But your children don't even know you from Drewski, according to your lawsuit.
I don't know.
You said your daughter was upset because she thought that was you on the Drewski video. So you ain't even being at home that your child can't tell the difference between you and Drewski on a video?
I don't
You
believe
should have been at home anyway.
Did she
That
really?
was not an event where Turning Point USA had anything to do with. Go home and raise your children.
Did she really suggest that her kids could not tell the difference between
You heard
her
what
and
I
Drewski?
said. You heard what I said.
That dude looked like an extra from White Girls. There's no way.
You heard what I said.
There's no
These
way.
people are trying to play in our face. The first thing Donald Trump said after that was, "This is why I need my ballroom." Tim, when has the White House Correspondence dinner ever been at the White House?
I don't think it's ever has it?
It's not a White House event, Tim.
Yeah, it's not.
So whether you had a ballroom or not, guess where that wasn't gonna be? At the ballroom.
Well, he
Now
would have
you
probably
got-
he's indicating is once we get the ballroom, that's where it's going to be from now on.
Tim, stop it.
I'm just
Stop
telling
it,
you.
Tim,
I'm
because
just
they'll
telling
never have it there. Anyway, and Todd Blanche sent a letter to the lawyers that are suing about this ballroom, saying they need to drop the lawsuit because last night proved Trump needs his ballroom. Tim, you can keep letting them play in your face if you want to. But I done got too old for toys. And I don't believe in Santa Claus no more. And they ain't finna keep trying to play in mine.
Yeah, I would vehemently disagree that the ballroom is needed for a security issue because Trump held rallies all over this country and he was able to secure all of those. I've been to a couple of Trump rallies. I know what the security is like at the ones I went
security
to. Yeah.
At the Hilton, when everybody coming in now, the Hilton was in on it too. I don't care what nobody say. And let me say
Oh
this.
my God. And real quick hold on, before you get into that, Jake on YouTube, I saw that royal crown. Thank you very much. That was beautiful. I've never seen that happen before. So thank you very much, Jake, in the comments. Go ahead, Takesha.
Let me say this. Straight Facts made two very important points today.
Okay.
Black people was mad at Kamala because she married a white man. The whole time they saying she ain't black. So why would she not marry a white man? The whole time they saying Obama ain't black and he ain't do nothing for black people. If he wasn't black, why would you expect him to do something for black people?
Yeah.
Was that not genius?
Yeah, sometimes when you turn shit around like that, that's something I normally do.
Sometimes you say stuff that's so ignorant that you don't even know how ignorant you sound. That bring me back to the point where that man said Obama was a Ronald Reagan Republican. Tim, come on, Tim.
I can't listen. I let the guests talk.
That was far-fetched. Tim, he sounded more drunk than the man that just got out because he was 10 sheets in the wind. I don't care what you say.
My guests are not drunk.
I can't hear that. You couldn't tell that man was 10 sheets in the wind. That man started drinking yesterday.
Damn.
And came on the show today.
Well, you have to understand, your humble correspondent, your host. I've never had an alcoholic beverage in my life, so maybe I'm not good at spotting it.
Myself, Tim, but I can tell when somebody's inebriated. Cut the crap, Tim. Just stop it. But Tim, like I said, if you want to believe it, then you go ahead, my boy. Ain't gonna be no more investigation. That manifesto came out so fast. That Lego video came out faster. Did you see the Lego video, Tim? Tim, them folks be on it. But what I'm saying is, by the time that man got handcuffed, we knew his name. We had a picture. We knew where he worked. We know where he went to school at. We knew his 2 degrees. We knew about a manifesto. We know he had a sister and a brother. Maybe because got information this fast.
Well, it's a different day and age, Takesha. Maybe that's because it was a legitimate hit on Trump's life. Let
me ask you a question. Just like the woman asked him on 60 Minutes, how did they know he was coming for Trump?
Well, before I respond, and I think the answer to that is obvious, but before I respond to that, Stevie D says, you know that ballroom would be used after Trump, right? Y'all deranged. So he's saying that the ballroom's going to be used up. Why are you so much so against the ballroom?
Tim, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
You think I give a damn about a ballroom? When my son get married, can I go to the White House and say, hey, can we have a reception here?
It depends on how much money you got and how much you donated to the campaign.
Tim, you're lying.
No.
Tim.
I bet you Nancy Pelosi could do it.
Tim. Who?
Nancy Pelosi. If you are a big politician.
What's the difference in me and Nancy Pelosi?
Okay, somebody who donated a bunch of money to the Democratic campaign.
You take your ugly mud face up there. You donate your money, and then you say, "Hey, I want to have a party here." And see how quick they throw your black ass out of there. So what you want to have a party? Why are these people so excited about a ballroom they will never use ever in life? What is it benefiting us for a ballroom, Tim?
I think it's the pride of the United States.
I don't have pride for no ballroom that I can't use. Forget a ballroom. How about lowering the groceries? How about taking that money and feeding the poor? How about taking that money and putting it into healthcare? How about that? We could care less about how good a ballroom looks for the rich folks to go dance in while we at home hungry and we can't even do the Michael Jackson because our stomach hurt too bad because we couldn't afford to feed ourselves that night.
Well, listen, the right tends to be more favorable to the wealthy than the left, so that may have something to do with it.
Tim, let me say this, and I say this on Zeus, and then I'm gonna let you go. Ever since Donald Trump walked down that escalade, this country has been divided. It's sad that every time something happens, the first thing we do, and I'm guilty of it myself, is try to find out if the person was a Republican or a Democrat.
Yeah.
Tim, that didn't used to be. We didn't even know the people affiliation that did stuff, Tim, because we didn't care. All we knew was somebody did something that was horrible. We didn't go looking to see if they was a Democrat or a Republican. This mess didn't start until Donald Trump divided the Democrats and the Republicans. So my thing is this. If there is an assassination, which I highly doubt it, he caused it on himself with his mouth, Tim. I'm so tired of the psycho in the seat. He's getting more dangerous every time he make a true social post or talks about somebody in a press conference, and it's getting more and more disgusting as the days go on. Caroline Levitt, please go on maternity leave, baby, because you about as worse as him.
Speaking of which, I'm gonna run her clip. All right, Takesha, I don't know if I agree that the country was not divided before Trump, but yeah,
Tim,
he didn't help.
Tim,
yes, ma'am.
You don't have, listen to me. You don't have to agree with me.
I know that.
Even when Obama was in office, Tim, we wasn't this bad, Thomas, so Democrat or Republican. They were just mad at the black man being in the chair. They didn't say Democrat.
Well, he did wear some. He did wear some funky looking suits. I gotta go, Takesha.
Let me tell you something.
Real quick.
You wish you looked like Obama. Even today, sir. Don't make me bring up when you were wearing them ugly ties on here, thinking you was on Tinder Talk trying to get a date when you were wearing them white shirt and them ties from my granddad. Tim, take it off. It's embarrassing. Tim, I told you to throw that one away. Throw it away and don't never wear it no more. You don't even need to use that to blindfold a woman. She'll run out the room and say, "No, it's over."
God damn it! I better get some hat mustaches and galaxies for this bullshit I'm taking. I gotta go. Appreciate it, Takesha. Thank you. Damn, she turned it into a gangster grandma right in front of my face. Tap the fucking screen. Get the likes up. Certainly, the TikTok cap and hat. God damn, it's terrible. Maybe is this a bad day for this? Is this, maybe we need to end this. Let me see in the comments, fucking maggot says, user, who are you talking about? Biden printed $10 billion. I haven't heard any evidence of that whatsoever. Where's the evidence? And thank you, DJ D. Somebody's showing the program some love. Debo, giant robot. Appreciate that. I love black women, says Kevin. Fair enough. Blue One Banks. Tim threatening us again, alter ego. I don't know how to threaten. I'm just a constituent voting like everybody else. Danny Dan, thank you very much. Lewis, some of you guys are, oh shit, there we go. There we go. God damn it, thank you. Tap the screen, by the way, too. If you're watching us on YouTube, smash that like button. We don't block banners since we make this happen. Get us up to 70,000. We'll go to the next caller. And we'll make it happen. I don't know what I just hit there, but we'll go to Deidre Anderson. I would like to get some MAGA as well, because I want to hear this. Before we before we bring up, hang on one second, Deidre. Just one more take. We've been playing this over and over again, but I think it's worthy of hearing Carolyn Levitt suggesting this is what's leading to people trying to off our commander-in-chief.
Nobody in recent years has faced more bullets and more violence than President Trump. This political violence stems from a systemic demonization of him and his supporters by commentators, yes, by elected members of the Democrat Party, and even some in the media. This hateful and constant and violent rhetoric directed at President Trump day after day after day for 11 years has helped to legitimize this violence and bring us to this dark moment. Those who constantly falsely label and slander the president as a fascist, as a threat to democracy, and compare him to Hitler to score political points are fueling this kind of violence.
Do you agree with her, Deidre? Good evening. Deidre, are you there? Apparently my caller is not there. All right, we're moving on. Do you guys agree with her, though? She's saying that violence, that rhetoric is what's leading to this stuff happening. We'll go over to Instagram, if we will. Because, by the way, we're on Instagram, TikTok, Substack. For those who want to call in, if you're watching us on YouTube, smash that like button. Dencal, if it brings them up, Instagram is a little bit slower. We'll see what happens. Trump is not Hitler, but he is a pedophile fascist. Damn, Brian. Yikes. Looks like, there we go. Dencal, good evening. Welcome to the show. What do you think? Is the Democrat rhetoric getting out of hand?
No, it's no different than it's been. Every time something happens, they blame the same thing. The lunatic left. They use an insult while saying that people are insulting them.
They're using insults by calling the Democrats radical. You're saying that's the insult part.
Yeah, they're saying that the Democrats are calling him names while they're calling us names.
So I want to ask you the same question I asked earlier in the live. What are the rules? Because you're right. While Trump is talking about folks, lobbying all kinds of insults at him, he regularly does that himself. So what are the rules? What are you allowed to joke about? What insults are you allowed to throw around? Because it's not like Trump is there just being punched by the left and not throwing jabs himself. So what is acceptable versus what's not?
You got me. I'm trying to figure it out too. We all plan as we go along. We listen to Trump. His wife. Somebody makes a joke about him or his wife on late night TV. This guy's up every night, all night, criticizing, talking trash about people. They saying this guy should be fired.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make any sense. Like, this guy was literally criticizing people who were actively in court. Like, you remember when they was in court and he was actively talking trash about people who were testifying. Like, there is no limit to what he can do.
That's a good point. That's a good point because he was insulting the judges. Talking about one of the judges' sister was a Democrat donor, and you're right. He was talking about folks that were, saying that the jury is all liberals. I mean, yeah. So I'm saying, what is the rules? What are the rules, rather? What can you say, and what are you not supposed to say?
Obviously, you can only say what Trump wants you to say, and nothing else. It's kind of crazy. I don't.
Well, how about this in the comments? I'm not even gonna be able to pronounce it. Alec, I think it says lefties are the reason America is cooked. They're saying it's the Democrat rhetoric, didn't Cal?
Right. They're literally saying that we are screwing up everything by saying that they screwing up everything. It's like circular logic. It's like circular logic. Trump got mad at the reporter from 60 Minutes for saying what the assassin said.
Yeah, he said, "I knew you were going to read that because I forgot what he called her, but yeah, he's also stated that the media is the enemy of America. I don't know why that is not considered as violent or instigating rhetoric either. But he has said the media. Trump has said all kinds of bad things about the media, and yeah, I don't know why that's not being.
The media literally cannot ask him or say what the assailant said about him.
Yeah. All she was doing was reading a quote from the manifesto, and that was bad.
Jesus.
But I have to ask though, MAGA knows what you're talking about. Why does MAGA have such a different take on it? Because MAGA does think the media, the 60 Minutes journalist simply reading the actual quote from the manifesto, MAGA thinks it was wrong for her to read that too.
They wouldn't have if he wouldn't have said that.
So he's just got.
If they would have went through that, if they would have went through that whole interview and she hadn't mentioned what the guy said, Trump could have got up there and said, you didn't mention nothing about what he said, and then they would have jumped on that side.
So you make it almost sound like Trump is a puppet and MAGA is at the bottom of the strings.
Like a marionette.
Well, you got the likes of Marjorie Taylor Greene and some of them that have spoke out. All MAGA's not puppets.
Yeah, but see what happens when they speak out. They cut the strings. You no longer get to play. You no longer get to be in the show.
How do you get that much power? I want that.
I don't know, but one thing I wanted to say, it might be off your topic, but it's about this lawsuit that these people keep talking about, the SPLC, the
Southern Poverty Law Center, yeah.
Okay, I just want to, let's move that to the side. Let's have a conversation about how people do investigations. You try to plant people inside of organizations.
So in this case, paid informants.
Right.
Yeah.
And so what you do is you get somebody to act like they want to be a part of the organization. They get inside the organization. They actually participate sometimes in the illegal activities so they can find out the ranking structure and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
That's how we do investigations. You remember they did the same thing on Fast and Furious. Remember they was like, America was selling guns to people down in Mexico.
Fast and At first I thought you were talking about the movie, but Paul Walker did it in that case too. Even in the movie they did it. But you're talking about the gun case.
That's how you infiltrate an organization. They're using this. They're flipping it and saying that they were just giving these people money when they were actually infiltrating them to be able to take them down from within. And anybody who understands investigation knows that. But they will get on here and say the Southern Poverty Law Center was paying the KKK.
Yeah. And that's, I had Lumberjack, who's Black MAGA, he said that, talking about that shows that the party switch never happened. But yeah, that's what I said. When it came to the Southern Poverty Law Center's indictment, first thing I said is they've been indicted. Now they have to have their day in court. The right is just taking the indictment as fact. The right is treating the Southern Poverty Law Center as if they're guilty until proven innocent. Like they got their day in court. They're saying the indictment is not factual. You got to hear their side first. So, because I get people all the time, well, what is your opinion on the Southern Poverty Law Center? I don't have an opinion yet. They haven't spoke out against the other side yet. So.
It's just like they asking you, what is your opinion of a lawsuit against Chairman Powell? Remember, they was, he been stealing all of this money. Now that they dropped the lawsuit, we just gonna act like they didn't waste all of our damn millions of our tax dollars pursuing this guy. And all of the lawsuits against those Congress people who made the commercial that said don't break the law.
Yep. And those folks, the ones that said don't follow illegal orders, Trump, I meant to have that clip ready because that's another violent clip where Trump talked about what they said is punishable by death. He actually did. That's another violent statement he made about, that was the senator from Arizona. I can't think of their names right now, but yeah, he said that was a clip he said that was a statement that was punishable by death. Now that he's on the wrong end of this stuff, he's saying that the Democrats are being radical and saying all kinds of shit that's leading to him facing death threats. But I guess they don't hear the stuff that he is saying.
You should ask them sometimes. I know they can hear me now, but some of the ones that might not be on, you can ask them what did Trump mean when he was saying that if Kamala Harris got elected, that the Second Amendment would handle her.
Well, it'll be. I always use the Charlie Kirk reference because you generally hear him say you were taking that out of context. That's usually going to be the response. You took it out of context.
How would a Second Amendment stop somebody like that? I don't know what context you can put it in.
I've heard a lot of things that they said was taken out of context, and I'm like, what other context could there be? I mean, Charlie Kirk said the Civil Rights Act was a mistake. Well, you took it out of context. Martin Luther King was an awful guy. You took it out of context. What else could it mean? So, I don't know. I mean, but they do often say that. I mean, literally every quote Charlie Kirk said was taken out of context. Like,
hey, that drunk guy you had up there a few commenters ago had the nerve to say, well, Martin Luther King's sister said Trump wasn't racist, while they the whole time was talking shit, talking about Martin Luther King wasn't shit, and he was a bad person.
Yeah.
But we supposed to listen to his sister.
Look, folks use anything they can to string together some type of alibi. I mean, it is what it is. And you heard me, because I wrote down his notes, all the stuff he was saying, that Trump is suffering, people calling him racist and saying he hates black people and calling him a pedo. And then by the time the conversation was done, he had admitted all that shit was done to Biden too. So
and at the end, he said, you were the deranged.
Yeah, he told me I was trying to spin the narrative. I'm like, listen, I'm just going where you take me. You don't like when if you take me into your house and I say, well, this room don't look clean, you shouldn't have brought me here. I mean, like, he didn't want me to actually. I guess he just wanted me to take his statements at face value because it was
everything at face value.
Yeah.
Nothing you said made any difference in his opinion,
No.
even though you made him admit that it happened on both sides.
Yeah, and that's the whole point, is that I don't understand why MAGA sees Trump as such a victim with the rhetoric being delivered towards him when that rhetoric is being delivered towards Biden and Obama. Okay, like for instance, Carolyn Leavitt is talking about, constantly calling him a socialist, or better yet, a fascist. Well, they call the left socialist. What's the difference? You're calling one guy a fascist, you're calling the other guy a socialist or a communist. Why is it wrong to call him a fascist, but it's okay for him to call people socialists and communists? I don't understand it.
And look, the way he was pausing was classic, because they literally have no answer to what you said.
Yeah.
And it reminded me of back in the day when you had Red Fox and what's Esther. Remember they used to be arguing.
Yeah.
And then when one of them said something that they ain't have a comeback to, he would just be like, "Yo, mama."
Well, I'm assuming the "your mama" response is probably happening, but it may be a slur or something that they don't want to say out loud. It may be happening. That actually may be happening, but they don't want to say it out loud.
This guy, did you know that he supported Jesse Jackson's candidacy? Yeah, after he signed after he was trying to rejuvenate his image in New York.
Yeah.
After he signed that consent decree, but nobody will dig that far and see why he was giving money and being around black people back then. Everybody just assumes that black people loved him, and the people he was around, he was throwing money around.
Well, I also say too, there's a good chance that during Trump's time as a businessman, he wasn't making those radical statements like that in public as much. I mean, Trump was on TV plenty of times back then. I don't think he was going around saying other than that Central Park 5 thing, I don't think he was making or Chicago's garbage. And I don't think he was doing that back then. His statements, now that he has more power, has gotten far more controversial than they were back then.
He might have not been, but everybody knows he wasn't in the business of dealing with black people.
Well, but then again, the thing, when you look at the age of Trump and the wealth of Trump, most people during that time that were like Trump were not in the business of dealing with black people. That wasn't uncommon to have a guy that was as wealthy as Trump in the 70s or 80s not doing a lot of black business with black people. That was kind of the norm.
Yeah, well, that's something that I don't really know about, so I won't debate it, but I will talk about the things that are documented in his court cases that the DOJ brought against him.
Yeah.
Now, you think about it. We talking about how things were back then. Imagine, they had to be so egregious back then that the DOJ brought cases against him.
Well, fact is, he's in New York, too. I mean, if he was a big-time businessman in Huntsville, Alabama somewhere, it may have not happened. But you're in New York, some of the cities that blacks escape to get away from Jim Crow, yeah, you're going to probably get held accountable a bit quicker. Just like in Chicago, they had a lot of this.
I beg to differ.
You know,
I beg to differ. That
really?
A big real estate tycoon in New York who was throwing money around is less likely to be brought up on charges by the DOJ without a very strong case.
Well, I think if it was done in the South, the evidence they needed to make the case may have not been given to them. I just think it would have been a lot more good old boys not even cooperating with the DOJ.
True, but it's all documented. So all of this stuff that people everything that they want to know about what his company was doing and everything, it's all documented, but they will never bring that up.
Well, they're going to suggest that when it comes to Trump, the DOJ was weaponized even back then, trying to go like they knew he was going to be president one day, so they were already trying to stop him. Look, I'm not pretending like all of the defense of Trump comes with logic, because a lot of the stuff they use to defend Trump, it makes no sense. I got to move it on, Cal, but it's a MAGA world, man. We just squirrels trying to get a nut. It's a MAGA world.
I know, but man, come on, man. Hey, man, we got to figure out another way, man, for you to get the MAGAs hyped up, man, because they crawling into their hole right now, man. You're losing your touch, man.
It's less to defend. It's less to defend. I mean, there's
harder on facts, man.
Well, the problem is, I had a better rapport with MAGA when I was giving Trump credit for things he was doing. In his first term, there was more to give him credit for than it is in his second term. I didn't encounter any unhappy MAGA in Trump's first term. Some of my regular visitors that are MAGA are now like, I give him a C-. I mean, even I got fucking Gen X, Proud Boy. I give him a C-. What the fuck? I didn't used to get that. I mean, Jeremy voted for him. He's no longer liking him anymore. I mean, it's harder to support. It's harder for me as somebody who leans a little center left to defend him when you got folks that lean center right that are like, this is not a good dude. At this point,
they're not liking this Israel thing. That's rubbing them the wrong way.
Yeah. At this point, it's mainly the far right that are still on the Trump train, but the center right and the independents.
What is Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens and the Hodge twins and who are they?
They don't know those. Them motherfuckers so woke they don't know those in coffee. I gotta go. Appreciate it. Thank you as always, Cal. Good talking to you, man.
All right, take care.
You too. All right, moving on with the program. MAGA is imploding, says Jesse. I don't know if they're imploding, but they're certainly losing. They're certainly losing some of their devoted followers. I mean, like I said, the Marjorie Taylor Greene types, you're not supposed to lose that. I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene voted with Trump like 96, 98% of the time. How do you lose that? So, yeah, they're losing people because of some of the things Trump is doing is so different than what he campaigned on. I mean, some people voted for Trump genuinely because of what he campaigned on. And I always say there's a lot of legitimate reasons to vote for Trump because he promised to do a lot of good shit for America and its people. But he is not doing that stuff now that he's in office. His biggest campaign slogan, besides Make America Great, what is his biggest campaign slogan other than Make America Great? America First. He ain't doing that. Talking about you want to get Maduro out of power in Venezuela because it'll help the Venezuelans. You want to take out the Ayatollah because it'll help the Iranians. Talking about the Castros are bad for Cuba. You want to help the... Where is the America First in that? So people voted for him based on what he was saying. And he was saying some good things for a time. But the stuff he is doing now is the opposite of that. So you have two types of MAGA, as I always say. And tap the screen, get us up to 90,000. We'll take the next caller momentarily. Tap the screen, get the likes up to 90,000 if you're watching us on. And thank you for that. Crown, Blue One Banks. Appreciate that support. Thank you very much. There's two types of MAGA. I say this all the time. There's one type of MAGA that I just explained. People who voted for President Trump because the shit he was saying sounded much, much better than Kamala Harris or any Democrat for that matter. The economy, grocery prices down on day one, no new wars, ending the Russia-Ukraine war in 24 hours, just a lot of good shit he was promising. People voted for him because of that. He was going to get out these immigrants that were rapists and murderers and give us a secure border. I don't see anything wrong with voting for a person for those reasons. That's one type of MAGA. I said there's two. The other type of MAGA, they voted for Trump. Doesn't really fucking matter what he is doing. I believe this guy, President Trump, is the best leader this country's ever had. And whatever he is doing, I believe it will eventually turn out right. I told you many times before, I've been to a couple Trump rallies. I had somebody tell me Trump was sent by God to lead this great nation. So a lot of them folks believe that even in times where things do not look well, because President Trump is at the helm, it will eventually turn out right. Doesn't matter how bad it looks. I always say it kind of reminds me of the way we view the deity. Whatever your God is or whatever the case may be, no matter how tough times are, you feel confident that your deity will do things right in the end. God doesn't come when you want him, but he comes on time. God works in mysterious ways. Very similar to, he's not playing checkers, he's playing chess. You just don't know what moves he's making, but the moves he is making is in the best interest of the United States. That's the second type of MAGA. They're going to ride with him no matter what he's doing, whether it looks beneficial or not. The goal is eventually it's going to turn out right, and I just trust the guy. I'm not even going to ask questions, but I believe what he's doing is just going to turn out right. Them folks are still exceptionally happy with Trump. The ones who voted based on the things he was promising, they're not happy at all because they wanted something for their vote. They didn't just think the man is, just going to do what's right. And I see in the comments, Jake says faith. Yes, there are voters that have blind faith in President Trump. That's why he can say things and there's no proof required. You don't require proof from your deity. If your deity says if you do this, you will be allowed into the kingdom of heaven, you don't need proof. You just have faith that what he is saying is going to happen. They have faith in President Trump, very similar to that. Those folks are still happy with Trump. Anyway, tap the screen. Exactly. MAGA always says, just wait, you'll see. Yeah. I mean, you can't argue with faith. Can't argue with faith. It's the same thing religious people say about being judged by God. Wow. And in the comments, somebody, everyone is 119 says he thinks he's God. Well, when you got folks posting pictures of him as Jesus, you can't be surprised if you let it go to his head. I mean, there's a lot of folks that are saying that. Let me go back to the box. We'll make it happen with James Harper. God didn't send them. Well, try telling that to MAGA. James, good evening.
What's going on, Tim?
Not much at all. Same, different day, different question. What are the rules? Trump is saying radical, commentary from the left is causing people to try to take him out. But Trump has some special commentary, often controversial himself. So what are the rules? What can you say? What can you joke about?
As opposed to like Trump or conservatives, you're not supposed to make any jokes, but everybody else is fair game. That's the rules.
So you're saying the rules are only he can do it and nobody else can?
According to MAGA, yeah.
I got to get MAGA because I'd be curious. I don't think they would agree with that.
Remember, MAGA thinks everybody else is snowflakes, but the second you say something against MAGA or Trump, they're the ones crying like little bitches.
No, they just say you have Trump derangement syndrome. I've probably been told I have Trump derangement syndrome at this point, probably at least 5 figures, over 10,000 times. I bet in the times I've been doing lives. I mean, go ahead.
Hold on, Tim. You saying that we're supposed to have Trump derangement syndrome, but they're the ones that go completely against their own beliefs at a moment's notice because the dear leader said something different.
What do you mean? Give me an example.
No new wars, but all of a sudden, yeah, we need to go into Iran and stop that.
Yeah, they do change on the dime like that. I mean, I never thought I'd see so many MAGA saying, yeah, we need to take Greenland. I mean, they were 100% behind them, and they're 100% behind taking Cuba and Venezuela too. And you're right, we had plenty of debates about how Trump would be much better than the liberals because he was going to get us out of all these useless forever wars. And the minute he got in there and started talking about attacking folks, even named it the Department of War, they were super happy about it. So I don't have an answer for that.
Not to mention, remember, they're all about us supporting our allies, unless our allies is England, Germany, France, Spain, Denmark.
Who are our allies in the MAGA world?
Apparently, we only have one ally, and that's Israel.
I don't know. Do you think? I don't think all MAGA views Israel as an ally.
No, all MAGA doesn't. But remember, MAGA leadership and like the truly devout MAGA, they believe so. Because remember, all our other allies, oh no, they don't treat us good. They do us bad in all these trade deals. They make us pay for everything while they do nothing. But Israel's our greatest ally.
How does that work? Do you think there's some kind of special arrangement between Trump and Netanyahu? Because Trump knows that the Alex Jones and the Megyn Kellys and all of them are not big fans of Israel. There has to be some reason why he's still hanging on to Israel like that.
Because not Israel. Bibi promised him that once they took over Gaza, he'd have access to all that beachfront property to throw on one of them Trump resorts.
This man is like 80 years old come November. You think he's still chasing a bag like that? Like, you ain't going to be around to see Gaza rebuilt. Even if Bibi Netanyahu gives you Gaza, you're not even going to be around to see it.
This man is supposed to be leaving office in about 2 years, but he's harping up and down about this ballroom that will not take 2 years to build.
Yeah. Well, what about what Stevie D in the comments said? The liberals are deranged because you're going to get to use the damn ballroom too. Why are the Democrats so against the ballroom when it's going to benefit them down the line?
Because there was never a need for it in the first place. You tore down a part of history for something that won't even be finished by the time he gets out of office. So what was the point of him even installing it?
Yeah. And I see in the comments, DJ D says his kids will be around. Look, whoever takes over Gaza, that's going to be a spot for terrorist activity for the rest of his kids' lives. If they do what Trump and Netanyahu is talking about with Gaza, you think the Gaza Strip has been dangerous now. I mean, that is literally stolen land. It's going to take a long time before they just come to accept that. Maybe, how long did it take in this country before they accepted us, having stolen it? It takes a while for that. I mean, when did Christopher Columbus get here versus when we became a nation in 1776? What is that, about 200, 300 years? It takes a while before they accept, okay, you got it, it's yours. So I don't think his kids are going to have that peacefully. It takes a while for that. So, but no, I mean, shit. At the end of the day, is there just no rules at all? Because you're right, the MAGA side seem like they want to make the rules, which is Trump can insult and joke, but the Democrats cannot. Are the Democrats going to take the route, perhaps, of Michelle Obama in the future? When they go low, we go high?
No, it's going to be you go low, we go to hell.
Ooh, that sounds like Sonny Halston on The View. She says that. Do you agree with that? That when the Republicans go low, the Democrats should go lower?
You gotta remember, a lot of MAGA are wannabe bullies. They're all about like insulting and disrespecting any and everybody. But the second they feel somebody stand up to them, all of a sudden they're the victim.
Yeah, and I see in the comment. Yeah, I hear that a lot. And I see in the comments. I can't see the name here. 161 says, Tim, did you hear that the Republicans are trying to pass a bill to get his ballroom built now using our tax dollars to do it? Yeah, I have heard that. And you heard Trump originally say there was no tax dollars going to the ballroom. Here's my take on that. I believe that there were big businessmen willing to give Trump money for the ballroom, and seeing his poll numbers in steep decline and the oncoming midterms, which everybody believes that Republicans are going to lose significantly, I think they decided to withdraw their funds, because what we are not being told is they were expecting to get something for the money they were donating to the ballroom.
Oh, they definitely was expecting to get something like a data center where they can mine personal data.
Yep. And now if you get a Democrat Congress after the midterms, whatever Trump promised them is not going to go through. So they just like, well, fuck it, dude. I can't do this for you because you ain't going to be able to keep your end of the bargain come November, which makes it clear that it never was free money to the ballroom like Trump tried to indicate. There's some kind of quid pro quo out there.
It's always been quid pro quo, Tim. This is the most transactional president we've ever had. And what's worse is he's overtly transactional.
Well, I mean, the man made it sound like he had a bunch of business conglomerates that were just wanting to be nice and spruce up the White House.
He said it himself. He was on camera saying, hey, you give me money, I'll get rid of these regulations so you can make more money.
Yeah. But some of that is
Biden crime family.
Yeah. Yeah, Hunter Biden eat your heart out. I know Hunter Biden is like, you mean I could have done all we didn't, that's like literally breaking into a Best Buy in the middle of the night and your ass just stole a few games. Like, these motherfuckers coming out with 80-inch TVs. You mean we could have took all this? You just took a few games? I mean, what Biden did.
It would make it worse. The police are looking the other way instead of actually going after them.
Yeah. I mean, Trump has definitely made it obvious to former past politicians, you could have took a whole lot more than you did when you was in there. I mean, because these people like
what happened was there was actually oversight to stop them, stop these people from doing all that. He went and got rid of all that oversight, and now he's making the country dry, and MAGA is cheering him on while he's doing it.
Yeah, he definitely was smart in putting the right people in place. I think you can give credit to the likes of Bannon and Miller and some of them for helping them do that. In the comments, though, Billy, I want you to hear this one. If the Democratic leadership would have not talked in circles about men using women's restrooms, safety of ladies and children, they might have won. Do you think that's what cost the Democrats the election? They didn't know what a woman was? And Mike the Sailor...
No, that's the biggest crock of shit. What happened was their policies, they weren't putting their policies out there like they should have been doing it. Every time you even talk about their policies, all people said was, oh, it's going to cost the taxpayers this much money. It's not going to do nothing, when everything that Trump has been doing has been costing taxpayers way more. When you got every economist on one page saying, hey, this shit ain't going to work, and the only person that said it is going to work is Trump himself, and they still believe Trump. Who's the idiot?
Well, I can't. This is where I have to always defend my beloved MAGA, and I get accused of fluffing. Like I said, I totally understand why people voted for Trump. The shit he was promising sounded significantly better than what Kamala Harris was promising. Maybe because Kamala Harris knew you couldn't do it, but what Trump was promising did sound a lot better. It's just he ain't doing it now that he's in office.
But what do they always say about politicians? Oh, politicians always make promises that they don't keep. So what made you think that Trump was going to keep that shit?
Because he's not a typical politician.
Yeah, he's worse. He's the type of person. He's the one that was actually like buying politicians so they go his way. He even said so himself.
I get all of that. I'm just simply explaining their logic to you. Trump made a bunch of great promises, and he didn't have to worry about this guy getting in there and being a grifter because he wasn't even taking a salary. He was donating the salary that they were paying him, so he clearly was not trying to grift for money, and he wasn't a typical politician like the rest of them.
I know you got a fluff for MAGA, but come on now.
I'm telling you what they...
He wasn't grifting? He wasn't grifting too?
Yeah, he was grifting his ass off, but I'm telling you...
He wasn't it?
In
the first term, he wasn't even in the office less than a month, and he was already peddling the presidential seal at Mar-a-Lago. How was he not grifting?
I didn't say the man wasn't grifting. I'm saying I understand why people have failed for it. He promised a lot of good shit.
No, they were just too gullible not to realize. No, he didn't take a presidential salary, but he spent the short a lot of his first term in his own property, charging the government for having his people stay there.
Well, I can't disagree with you.
Not to mention Trump shoes, Trump Bible, Trump watches, Trump coin. Let's see, what else?
Bibles, coin, NFT cards. He had NFT cards. Yeah, he sold a lot of shit. I mean, his golf courses,
of all the things you would think that they would be upset about, you would think it'd be the Trump Bible.
Yeah. Well, he was bringing Christianity back in schools.
The man who doesn't know a single Bible verse is the one bringing Christianity.
Well, he liked them all, he said. He likes them all.
The man who said, I'm not really a Christian, I'm not going to heaven, is bringing Christianity back.
I didn't say it had to make sense. I mean, listen, the man is on record said, I never asked God for forgiveness. He's on record said, I'm not a Christian. I just need the Christian vote. I mean, literally, I got videos. I can bring up videos of him saying it. Huh?
You know what's crazy? Remember when that whole Jesus thing? And they talk about, oh, it wasn't like that? Remember, this is the same man that yelled out, I'm the chosen one.
I just simply said
at a press conference, Tim. At a press conference, it wasn't just like some random shit. No, at a press conference, he told them, "I am the chosen one," and they ate it up.
Well, I didn't say it had to make sense. I'm just telling. I got to move it on, James. You're really making me feel bad and look bad. But this is. I mean, look. Like I said, I can't explain it. But I understand it. I understand what they were thinking. I just don't understand why so many folks fell for it.
And Stevie D, you want to know why we lost? It's because people didn't vote. More people didn't vote than actually voted in the election. So cut that out where you think like, oh,
you put up a bad candidate. You put up a bad candidate. I gotta go, James. Thank you. Moving on. And by the way, I will say that from the heavens, I think Trump was a much better candidate than Kamala Harris. He was able to sell himself to the voters, rather, a lot better than Kamala was. But he did sell himself to the voters better by saying a lot of things he had no intentions of doing. And I think that's obvious at this point. Him promising no new wars, it's obvious that was not true. Because it would be different if you said, well, look, somebody had to do something about Iran, but Greenland, Cuba, and Venezuela? And now he's talking about Colombia. But no, he obviously had intentions of doing things militarily while promising no new wars. He obviously was planning on doing that. I mean, just simply naming it to the Department of War, that shows he had, I mean, not only did he name it to the Department of War, that's all we've been in. So, yeah, he obviously did not intend to do that. I think many MAGA believe that unlike Biden and the criminal left, we were going to get to the bottom of the Epstein files. He obviously had no intentions of ever doing it. So, yeah, he was better at selling himself to the American people and the voters, but what he was telling them, he had no intentions of actually doing. He was telling them that just to get in office. I think most of the immigrant community would tell you that. Most of the Cubans that voted for him down in Florida and things like that, what he told them versus what he did was totally different. So I understand why they voted for him, but he flipped and went in a different direction. Listen to what you just said. Trump was the better candidate. He's a convicted felon. Plus or minus a few felonies. Yes, that's a good point. By the way, I don't believe that a felon should be able to run for office. If I can't get a job in most industries, you shouldn't. I mean, how the hell can you tell me that as a felon, I can't, drive a school bus, be a nurse, doctor, teacher, any of that? He can have access to the nuclear codes? That needs to change. I've on many shows pointed out going forward anti-Trump laws so that future presidents cannot do them. That's one of them. As a felon, you shouldn't be able to run for office. I mean, certainly when you got ongoing cases. Look, can you imagine, even if you went to apply for a job at McDonald's, and when they ask you about your criminal history, well, I got 34 charges against me right now. I'm kind of fighting them. You got to fix that shit before you finish. Don't even apply right now. Fix that shit and then come back and let us know the outcome of that. He was able to run for office with open cases like that. You got multiple open felonies and you can run for that. I don't care if you think the felonies are fake. I don't care if you think they were a weaponized DOJ or whatever you want to call it. The liberals were making shit up. You got to fix that. I mean, because you in your daily life could not go and tell some job you know, well, look, man, it's these fucking liberals trying to get me, man. You know, no, you got to fix that before we go. We can't hire you here. You might be a liability. So yeah, that absolutely needs to change. No, you absolutely should not be able to run for, in my opinion, any political office. I'm talking about even all the way down to city councilman. You should not be able to run for any political office with active felony cases. They're still pursuing you. Like they're still fucking pursuing you. Like they're still saying you did this shit. You got a court date coming up. Yeah, that's crazy that he was able to do that. Thank you, Louis. Miguel, appreciate the support. Some of you folks with the hat and mustache, TikTok cap goals, thank you very much supporting the program. Tell me you are stupid without telling me you are stupid, says Louis. Well, you gotta add more in there. You gotta add more in there. For instance, you're asking something about charges with flu's. I don't know what that means with flu's charges. Put up a bad candidate and we ended up with bad Trump policies. I think, like I said, it doesn't matter how bad the Democratic candidate is. You should not be able to run when you got active felonies. They're literally pursuing you for felonies in multiple jurisdictions. That should instantly disqualify you from running for a dog catcher. And it would, by the way. If you ran for town dog catcher, it would disqualify you from running for that. But you can have the nuclear codes. That's an oversight. The founding fathers they probably never thought the American people would even give somebody like that a chance. You know, some laws you don't even think you need to write. Like, and they're not going to fuck with nobody with all this on them. You don't even need to write that in the law. The people are smart enough not to do that. Well, maybe you do need a law for that now. Did anyone ever notice except me? Creepy Joe only snuck up behind white-born women to sniff their hair. He never sniffed a black woman nor a so-called sex change person. Well, first of all, you don't know if he sniffed a trans person. There are plenty of trans people that look like women. So you can't look at every trans person and tell you, you don't know, but what you said, I don't know about the point you're trying to make there. But is he a racist pedo? You're trying to indicate? Rest in peace, Melissa Hortman and Man F. Tim Walsh. What is that coming from? Sorry, they will vote informed though. Everybody got to go through something to get something better. Yeah, like I said, you can't have a felon running for office, liberal or conservative. You just can't have that. Tap the screen, get us up over the 100,000 hump. We'll take the next caller momentarily. They never thought people would be that stupid to vote for a felon. I actually agree with that. I think if the founding fathers thought that this may happen one day, they would have probably wrote in the law you can't run if you got pending felony charges. Yeah, I actually think they would not have agreed with that. Maybe he liked their perfume. At least he didn't grab them by the pussy. But that's what I was telling the other caller who claimed that all the names that Trump is being called, most of the shit they claim Trump was said about Trump has said about others. Handsome conservative, you'd be the perfect person to ask, what are the rules? Trump is saying all sorts of rhetoric aimed at him has led to folks trying to take him out. Yet he has said all kinds of rhetoric about others.
First of all, if you have $7 fucking billion, you can pretty much grab any woman by the pussy. All right, I'm just going to say that out loud. Women have been throwing themselves at rich musicians and rich people their whole lives. They're not victims. That's just locker room talk, buddy.
I gotta disagree with you. You're telling me that all.
Of course you disagree with me. The man's got $7 fucking billion. He can grab and do whatever he wants to do and get away with it. He's rich.
So are you married?
Am I married?
Yeah.
No, I'm not married. I don't have $7 fucking billion either.
Okay, you got any children?
Oh, I got children.
You got a daughter?
Yes, I got a daughter, and I taught her to stay away from people like that.
But are you saying that a person with $7 billion could grab her genitals and she'd be okay with it?
Not at all. all. I'm saying women have been throwing themselves at rich people for many, many years. There's not much that a rich person can't get away with.
But you just told me your daughter's a woman and he couldn't get away with it on your daughter.
Yeah, but I taught my daughter to stay away from people like that. That's the difference.
Are you the only father in America that's told their daughter that?
Well, apparently I'm the only one my daughter listens to, so
I gotta disagree. Listen, I'll go halfway on you with it. I do believe that if you got a bunch of money, you'll have no shortage of finding women. But I do believe also there's a hell of you're Christian, for instance. You're a devout Christian.
I am Christian, but I'm also a guy. It's like what was his name? President Clinton getting a blowjob in the White House. He's the fucking president. Are you mad that he got a blowjob in the White House, or are we mad that we didn't get a blowjob in the White House? Which is it?
No, I think where we having a disagreement is you're really saying that there are no married women that are just loyal to their husbands, loyal to their religion, and money will just let them expose themselves.
I'm sure, to be fair, I'm sure there are some loyal women out there. I'm not trying to say there's no such thing as loyal women.
What about Melania?
Like Bigfoot, I'm sure they exist.
What about Melania? You think you just grab her by the pussy if you had $7 billion?
$7 billion. I bet you she did let him grab her by the pussy.
What about his daughters, Ivanka?
I'm not going there. That's disgusting.
She's grown. Wait. How is it disgusting? She's
daughter.
Every woman. Hold on. Every fucking woman in existence is somebody's daughter.
What you need to have more respect for our dear leader than that. All right.
What the fuck? The guy who's grabbing wants respect. Every woman in existence is somebody's daughter. Are you saying that Ivanka could be grabbed if a guy had a bunch of money?
No, man. I just came up here to mess with you. I've been watching your show all day. I'm just fucking with you. Listen, I've been watching your show all day. You've had a bunch of Democrats on here all day. I thought you could use a laugh, so I just came up here to fuck with you.
So what are the rules? If you've been watching all day, what are the rules?
I don't think there are any rules at this point. I mean, let's be honest. Come on, Tim. Both sides have been doing this for 5-6 years now. Everybody's guilty of making bad videos and tasteless jokes.
So then what is Trump? What is Trump? Just a crybaby? He's a snowflake?
I think Trump has done the exact same thing that has been done to him. If you get it, you give it. I mean, come on, let's be fair about this. You can't scroll through TikTok without somebody saying, I'm not saying we should, but maybe we should. You know, there's a lot of fucking people.
I mean, the man did say, I'm glad Mueller is dead. I mean, he made a mockery of Bob Grinders.
I will say this about that was tasteless, dude. That's one thing that was, man just died. I can't go that far.
So, but that's the point I'm making
I apologize, but I don't think there are any rules anymore. I mean, between Biden and Trump, and I mean, we've all posted funny videos. We've all seen the videos. It's Democrats doing it. It's Republicans doing it.
But at the presidential level, I don't think the Democrats, Biden ain't posted, Clinton ain't posted videos like that. It ain't at the.
I bet you there are people in the White House that aren't the president that are posting shit like that. Yeah. Trust me.
But it's a big difference. Now, if I seen, what is her name? Karine St. Pierre, the Biden spokesperson, the one that played the role of Carolyn Levitt. If she posted some shit like that, we would have heard about it. I mean, fact is, at the presidential level, Trump posting stuff, Obama as apes, Biden hog-tied in a car, dumping shit on protesters, him as the Pope, him as Jesus. Ain't nobody done shit anywhere. It's not even on both sides at that point. He's done this stuff significantly more than anybody else.
First of all, he was a doctor. I thought we all agreed he was a doctor. Okay, well, you can't be pulling the carpet from underneath me now. Okay. Second of all, look, man, the Biden thing as a pig was funny. I laughed at that.
Maybe people are laughing at the guy who's trying to shoot him. Maybe people laughed at that. Like I said, what are the rules? If your jokes are okay to you, then their jokes are okay to them.
Yeah, you're right. Honestly, I think maybe with all the shootings that are going on with the attempts and everything, we just need to tone it down, dude. We need to tone it down. Look, here's the deal. In 2 years, y'all are gonna get to vote. Maybe you get your guy in, maybe you don't. I don't know, but maybe it's time to just tone it down a little bit on both sides.
But do you think Trump is going to tone it down?
I would like to see, personally, I would like to see a little more policy, a little more help out here than a funny post. I mean, I laugh at the posts. I'm not saying I don't. I'm guilty of that.
Did you laugh at this? Biden hog tied in the back of a car. Did you laugh at that?
You know what? I don't think I saw that one.
Really?
I really don't think I saw that one.
Trump.
When did that get posted?
Biden was still president, and Trump, this is somebody's car who had this on the back of their pickup. Trump got hold of it and put it on the presidential account and sent it out.
No, I didn't see that one. Yeah, look, honestly, I just to be fair, I would like to see a little more help out here for everybody. You know, groceries are high, gas is high. You know, a joke's a joke, but maybe a little more policy to help all of us out, whether you voted for him or not. You know, I mean, I'm just trying to be honest. You know, we've all done the jokes, we've all done the memes.
I gotta push back. You're making it like it's a both sides thing. Biden didn't do this shit. Obama didn't do this shit.
I'm talking about Biden. I'm talking about us.
Yeah, but you're comparing you're
talking about the Democrats.
Right, but to make your both sides comment work, you got to compare us to the president. If I was talking about MAGA versus liberals, we would have a conversation. This is coming from the president. This is not coming from, there is no both sides on the Democrat side of this. The presidents aren't doing this.
He took a picture of this and then posted it. So he reposted a picture.
Why would he do that?
Maybe he thought it was funny. But I'm not making an excuse for him. You're asking me a question.
I mean, can you imagine?
The only thing I can, go ahead.
Okay.
I apologize.
Kathy Griffin she posted a picture with Trump's head being decapitated. She had a lot of trouble. Can you imagine Obama or Biden reposting that? Taking that picture that she put. Go ahead.
I honestly didn't see that one either.
How the hell could you be missing this shit? This is some of the biggest news around when it happened.
I'm watching the ones on Instagram and TikTok. These two I haven't seen.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I've seen so many of them. Come on, there's been a lot. You know, I can't watch them all, but no. Listen,
okay, well let's go with one. Let's go with one you did see.
Makes you feel better.
Hold on. Let's go with one you just admitted to seeing. You saw people on Instagram. You saw people on Instagram, TikTok, whatever, said, "I wish somebody would just off the president." We've all seen those videos. Can you imagine if Biden or Obama took that video and posted it on the presidential account?
Yeah. I mean, sure.
How would that be funny?
It would be any more right than this is. I think you think I'm trying to defend this. I'm not defending.
No,
this.
I think you're both siding an issue that doesn't have both sides. There are no other people at vice presidential or even presidential level that's doing this stuff.
I'm not saying president-wise. I'm not saying that Biden did this as the president. I would be surprised if Biden could work a cell phone when he was a president. I mean, honestly.
Well, even Obama, Hillary Clinton, none of them have done this stuff. None of them. It's only Trump. To make the both sides argument work, we got to compare the president to people that are significantly lower levels just to make it make sense, because there is no both sides to this. Nobody else is doing this stuff. It's coming from
no other president is doing this stuff, is what you should be
vice
saying.
I don't know any vice president that's doing it.
Okay, fine. No
Governor,
vice president, but
governor,
again,
senator.
But again, I was talking about posts that I've seen on TikTok and Instagram. I wasn't talking about the president. And as far as you go earlier, I wanted to talk about something you said earlier.
Sure.
I think you're right about your next person you run for a Democrat. I think that I don't know that it'd be a white Christian male, but I think y'all need to take a step back and look at the last two candidates you ran and figure out what the problem was there, and then run somebody completely different. Now, I'm not saying a white Christian male or anything like that. I don't want to get nobody riled up.
I'm saying it. But I will tell you this. I actually do think Hillary Clinton was a pretty good candidate. I just think with Hillary Clinton, Trump has just been a better candidate than anything we've seen. If Hillary Clinton was running against Romney or McCain or somebody, I think she would have won. I think that Trump was just a really, really good candidate. He's just a salesman like no other. And that's why I say it for all of my MAGA viewers who go, well, Democrats don't have a party leader going into 2028. The Democrats never going to win again. I'm like, we're not running against Trump. J.D. Vance and Rubio, none of them they don't have the strength, the salesman, the showmanship of Trump. Your next candidate is going to be weaker.
They don't, but to be fair, and I will even admit that I don't think J.D. Vance has what Trump has as far as the showmanship and the ability.
Yeah.
I'll go that far. I don't have a problem with the guy, but he's no Trump. Okay?
None of them. There is no Trump on the horizon.
I would say that, in my opinion, I think that y'all went from one really bad candidate to another really bad candidate. Like Kamala Harris, she was the first one in to run for president, and then she was the first one to drop out, I believe. She was a bad candidate from the get-go. She only got popular when she got put in the position that she was put into. She didn't earn it. She didn't run for it. I mean,
I don't think Hillary
were a bad pick.
I think there's a few things at play. I mean, obviously being a woman in a sexist society doesn't help. Kamala Harris being black didn't help her out. But also I will say in Kamala Harris, because I think Hillary Clinton was a good candidate. She just happened to run against probably the strongest candidate the Republicans have put up since Ronald Reagan. But I will say that when it comes to Kamala Harris, in addition to her gender, in addition to her race, she also was only given 107 days. I mean, if imagine J.D. Vance or Rubio, if you're running, let's say Trump was running 2028 again, and within 107 days of the actual election, he got sick or he died or something. And now J.D. Vance only has 107 days to tell people why he would be at a disadvantage. I mean, she only had a very small period, probably the shortest presidential campaign probably in our life.
I don't agree with much that you say, but I will give you props for this. I heard you earlier say that it's not who do you want to run, but who can you get to win? And I got mad respect. I may not be on your team there, but I got respect because you could see past. It's not who you want to run, whether it's a woman or somebody that couldn't do it on her own, like Kamala the first time that she ran. You need to find somebody else that can pull the cart through the finish line. Okay. I respect that. I do. We don't agree on much, but I'm trying to be nice today.
I'll cut it off right here with you being nice.
Okay.
Conservative.
All right.
Thank you very much.
All right, I apologize. Support your local liberal. There you go.
And some of them been a bit shortcoming on that, but thank you for saying that. Appreciate it. All right, moving on with the program. By the way, tap the screen. Certainly, he's right. Help your boy out with the crown TikTok at Cap and Mustache Goals. The giggler, aka Border Czar, used the black card. She was Indian and Jamaican. Kamala Harris was born in America, right? I don't look. Do you look at Barron Trump and say he's Slovenian because his mom? She was born in America. I don't look. Why can't a black person run for office without somebody trying to otherize them? If Kamala Harris robbed a liquor store and there was a warrant for her arrest, every damn body and their mama will be saying we're looking for a black woman. But because she runs for president, she's suddenly all this other shit. Let her do something wrong and she'll be darker than my motherfucking ass. But because she is running for president, well, she got to be Indian and Jamaican. Same thing with Obama, where he's half this and half that. Let his ass go knock off a liquor store. That motherfucker is blacker than a Crayola crayon. Some of the stuff you guys be doing is hilarious. This dude been black his whole fucking life. I'm sure his driver's license, where it says race, it don't say nothing about Kenyan and all this other bullshit. You think Kamala Harris's driver's license says Indian and Jamaican? You don't even put that down. That's a country. Race is not a nation. White people don't go around saying I'm German on their driver's license. The motherfucker says white. You guys really want to otherize people, don't you? Anyway, look in the comments. Indian and Jamaican. You want her to hyphenate it too? All the world's stage, these people are playing in everyone's faces. Yeah, that's what being a politician is about. And I don't know, in the comments, somebody brought up something I think is fucking hilarious. Tap the screen, get us up over to 115,000. We'll take the next caller. Somebody, King of Fire. I can't even pronounce all. It's a long ass name, but he's talking about Willie Brown. Here's where I got to give the MAGA side a shout out. In regards to being able to really pull off what would normally be the unthinkable. Kamala Harris had an affair with a married man decades ago. This Willie Brown, they were able to really bring all this shit up. Even President Trump talking about they were in a helicopter crash and Willie Brown just decided, I'm going to tell you about this bitch I fucked about 15 years ago. Why the hell would that come up? President Trump suggested that they were on a turbulent helicopter ride. And Willie Brown just decided to start confessing about, this is before anybody was running for president or anything. Kamala Harris was not even on the scene. I'm just going to go ahead and let me just tell you about this bitch I fucked 15 years ago before we crashed. Who does something like that? And MAGA was buying that. MAGA was actually buying that this man decided to discuss an affair in the middle of a helicopter crash to some dude who don't know anything about the bride. I mean, some of this shit that I got to give Trump credit. I got to say shout out to my beloved MAGA because some of this shit y'all buy is hilarious. And the idea that we could make a big stink over Kamala Harris having an affair with a married man years ago, and this dude is just banging bitches right and left, talking about grabbing them by their genitals and shit. And Kamala Harris walks out of this looking like she's the bad woman. I don't know how he's able to do it, but if I'm ever reincarnated, I want to learn. I don't know. Like, yo, dude is out here fucking everybody. His bitches tell about other bitches. And you gonna hold her accountable for what, dude? Anyway, let me go back to the box. It is hilarious, though, that you talk about being held to a higher standard. This dude's hanging around the Playboy Mansion. Now we got all kinds of potential. I'm going to say potential. I'm going to say alleged relationships with juveniles and shit. All this stuff is hovering around this guy. But Willie Brown got more attention. I need to be able to do that. God damn, I need to be able to do it. Anyway, looking at the comments. No wonder why Trump calls MAGA stupid and gullible people, and that's on Google. He does. Yes, I like the uneducated, but I don't get it. Willie Brown? I mean, even Melania Trump told the late Barbara Walters that when she met Trump, he was on a date with another bride, snuck away from her to get her number. Willie Brown, huh? Buried his chick on a golf course. Buried a bitch on a golf course. Willie Brown, huh? That's all it took. Shout out to Trump. How you pull that off? Anyway, let me go back to the box. Bury the bitch on the golf course. Willie Brown. Going back to the box. Free hugs. I need this power. I want it. I want my hands to glow as a doctor. Free hugs. Good evening. Okay. Apparently, free hugs is giving out hugs. The hypocrisy is stunning. It is amazing. But hey, if you can harness that kind of power, shout out to you. He should go for it. I mean, remember Biden was too old, decrepit. You got MAGA convinced he could be president too. He's 87. Trump 2028. He'll be 83, and they expect him to be viable till he's 87. Even with his hands representing gay pride by showing the rainbow. His hands are literally turning colors in their very eyes. He's representing gay pride right in your face. 87, huh? Anyway, let me go back to the box. I don't understand. Like I said, I want the power. I want that kind of power. What make it happen with Mishi, for you, Abraham Lincoln, John F. Kennedy, Martin Luther King, Ronald Reagan. What is it then here? What's the common denominator involved with the shootings? I don't know. I can't. Mishi, good evening.
Hey, how you doing, Fred?
I don't even know, but I'm asking, what are the rules? Trump is saying that violent rhetoric coming from the left is leading to folks trying to take him out. Now, we know Trump has his own set of rhetoric that he often releases. So I'm trying to figure out, what are the rules? What are you allowed to say?
Depends.
Those are underwear. Yes. But
exactly. Well, I mean,
are you selling those?
So Donald Trump can make fun of Pelosi, right? His family can make fun of Pelosi, right? Husband. This is his costume, right? They can say whatever they want. He can say that we're radical left communist Marxists who are trying to destroy the country. And by the way, you're right. The hogtied image is horrible.
Yeah.
But here's my question. Let's flip it. What has Donald Trump done the last year and a half to try to bring us together?
Well, in all fairness with Trump, he didn't campaign on unity, did he? I mean, he kind of made it clear I'm gonna be divided.
No, he actually did.
Give me some quotes. What did he say to make you think that?
Yeah, no. I think there was a point in which he was like, we need to come together, because there was, I mean, not always, but there were glimmers of that, okay? But we have a president right now, and what we needed, Republican, Democrat, Independent, MAC, we needed somebody to say, let's stop it. We need to come together. All of it needs to stop. And he's been asked multiple times, do we have to stop this? And he says no, Yeah,
I got to disagree with you on Trump even remotely doing anything resembling he was trying to unite us, though. I mean, he was bashing Obama and Biden and Pelosi and all of them the whole time he was running for office. I mean, not to mention bashing whole cities of liberals. Chicago's a shithole and Baltimore's. I mean, like, who was going to unite with that?
Okay, but there hasn't been one part of him in a year and a half that said, let's put it aside. Biden in his State of the Union has said, like, we have to temper down violent rhetoric. Trump seems to say we need to temper down violent rhetoric.
Yeah, right after he gets shot. Right after somebody tries to shoot him, he talks about it.
From the left. Like, he's very specific. We have to tamper it down from the left.
Yeah. Yeah, because he doesn't think it's coming from the right at all.
Well, it is.
Yeah, from him. But yeah.
Right.
He doesn't even talk about tempering it down until somebody tries to shoot him. He'll do it for a few days after somebody tries to shoot him, and then he goes right back to because right now he's attacking the media, demanding Kim will get fired. He's right back to doing it already.
Well, not just that, but he said that he wouldn't care if they pew-pewed through the press. Remember that?
Oh,
yeah. Said that? So after, yeah. So when he was talking about his assassination attempts, he was like, I mean, if you pew-pewed through the press, I'd be okay with that.
Damn.
Remember? Well, also, I mean, not too recently, he retweeted, whatever, he lied, that it'd be okay to unalive by hanging members of Congress.
Well, I know after the you don't have to follow illegal order statement, he suggested that what they did was worthy of being executed. Yeah, he said that was treason or being a traitor or whatever. So he did say it with them.
Yeah, he also called for the execution of a general, General Milley.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're talking about like calling for the unaliving of members of Congress, calling for the unalivement of a general, when he was told on J6 that Mike Pence, that they were calling for his
unalivement. Maybe he deserved it.
He deserved it. Wait, but Tim, he took it one step further. Not only did he say he deserved it, he took to his social media platform at the time, Twitter, and incited more violence against Mike, saying he couldn't get the job done. So now you know your Republican vice president is in trouble, and then you double down on rhetoric that made them even more mad. So I don't know. I don't think they have a leg to stand on.
No, I don't either. You just added a lot more to it. I got a ton of videos behind here that I queued up throughout the show about Marjorie Taylor Greene and how he pretty much called her a traitor, and she's saying she's getting death threats, and him talking about it, at one of his.
And he said he didn't care.
Yeah, he did.
She reached out to him and said, my family is literally getting threats because of your rhetoric. And basically because he's a malignant narcissist and doesn't give two craps about human life, including her children, was like, meh, you went against me, so who cares?
And MAGA for the most part is agreeing. I've talked to a lot of MAGA that said, yeah, I wouldn't vote for her again either. So, they kind of agree with what he's doing to Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah, can you imagine that?
No.
I think you and I can agree on this. I disagree with all political violence.
Same.
All of it. What happened to Charlie Kirk, unacceptable, right? What happened at the Correspondence dinner, unacceptable.
Do you think hold on. Do you folks are saying that's staged?
How about Whitmer, right? We had a governor, they're threatening to kidnap her. Those were Republicans. Unacceptable.
Did Trump kind of something happened with them? Did he let them out?
Oh, geez. Who knows? I do know that the Republicans are considering pardoning Ghislaine Maxwell. And so we have a woman who has been, sentenced for trafficking and abuse of minors. Why are we even potentially discussing pardoning her? And I do know that of the people that Donald Trump pardoned with violent criminal histories, 33 of them have gone on to commit crimes. Yep. 6 of them against minors.
Wow.
6 of them abuse against minors.
One of them got into a shootout in Indiana. He's dead. One of them, the cops, a state trooper, killed one of those January 6 people. But when you mentioned Ghislaine Maxwell and them flirting with pardoning her, even if we don't even go with the pardon, I still haven't been able to figure out why did they put her in a camp? Why is she in minimum security? She can bring a pet and all of this shit. Why did they upgrade her conditions so significantly?
She perjured herself, so there's no reason to even have a discussion with her because we know she's not trustworthy. So what is there to discuss with her? This administration should be talking to the victims and the victims only. We shouldn't be talking to the perpetrators and listening to people that we know perjure themselves that have nothing to lose, really. And yeah, you're right. Now she's sitting pretty with her little...
They upgraded her life. Only thing that we can see so far that she gave them is she was able to say, well, Trump wasn't involved in it. It's almost as if he did the same thing with Stormy Daniels. You kind of paid her something to say what you wanted to say on your better behalf. You got her to say that you weren't involved with Epstein. So boom, she gets a quid pro quo. She gets a much better stay in jail. She didn't do anything else that was worthy of doing that. So I don't understand why she got minimum security.
And she's not trustworthy. So no matter what she says, he's involved, he's not involved. How are we supposed to believe her? And let's talk about his first wife under deposition, who said that he assaulted her, right? He came home in a fit of rage, pulled her hair out, assaulted her, asked her if it hurt. And that's under risk of perjury, people. Okay. This is like back in the late 80s and 90s before he was ever a Republican politician. Okay. No witch hunt, no hoax. Calm your shit, MAGA. Okay. This is like who he's always been. But, you know, then all of a sudden she signed an NDA, and then she got a bunch of money. And so, you know, when you have the kind of power and money that he has, you can buy off a lot of people.
I just had, I think it was Handsome Conservative was just saying that. I see your comment with respect. He ran on division is what he's saying. But yeah, he said that when you got millions of dollars, you can grab a woman, anything like that. So you sound like you're somewhat agreeing with that.
Well, not just that. I mean, he gets away with everything. Like we talked about this, right? He can get away with posting an image of Joe Biden hogtied in the back of a truck. Can you imagine if Obama did that? Let's actually hold, Obama couldn't do a 10th.
No. I don't even think I think most of us would lose our jobs if we done that. If you...
Oh, no, everyone would lose their jobs. Okay, you would not keep your job. Okay, Amaga, think about this for a second. In your life, okay, just like in your job, some guy comes in and in a meeting, he starts mocking a disabled person. So, right, if you're in your job, if someone came in and started mocking a disabled person, making fun of a stutter of someone who works, and they'd be fired.
Yeah. I mean, not only that, but Nancy Pelosi's husband making fun of their sexuality. I mean, he don't cross off everything HR tells you not to do. He don't done all of that stuff. I mean, so yeah.
Wait. Imagine bring your kid to work day. Okay, so bring your kid to work day in your office, and so little Mary, your coworker, brings little Sally in, and she's got her little pigtails, and she's so cute because she's 10 years old.
Oh no!
This guy's.
Oh, I know where you're going.
No. You know where I'm going with this.
Oh no!
So you bring your daughter in, and the guy sitting next to you nudges and said, "I'll be dating her in 10 years." The guy would be fired.
Now, that's a fight. That would be more than the dad is coming up there and looking for that dude. Yeah, that's a fight. You telling somebody's 10-year-old kid, yeah, that's a fight. Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
now the same guy has 10 women at work who've been he assaulted me. And then he's going around bragging to other people at the water fountain that he can grab women without asking. And multiple women come forward and are like, yeah, well, he actually did grab me without asking. And there is no way this guy has a job on one count. Wait, MAGA, do the things that Donald Trump has done at your office and see if you have a job tomorrow. Do it. Make fun of a disabled person. Look at a 10-year-old, say you'll be dating her. Walk into a dressing room that you're not allowed to. And do any of the things that call a woman nasty and on your office. Call a woman piggy. Go ahead, do it. And see if you have a job.
Maybe you're discovering what the draw and what the energy behind Trump is that he's able to do things and say things that maybe some folks want to say but can't. So they're living vicariously through him. He's my hero. He's able to say shit that I wanted to say.
That's YT power, my friend. Okay, that's truly what YT power is. Okay, because he is a rich, powerful man, and so when you look at that young boy, I can't remember his name, that assaulted a woman, 6 months. Okay, the YT pastor who assaulted a child, 6 months in jail. 6 months.
Yeah.
6 months.
Yeah.
That is the power that we are seeing. That is unfair. And those people need to pay, and they need to be in prison for longer. And name the person who is sitting in prison because of the e-files. Go ahead, chat. Hey, Steve, you're talking big. Name the one person right now who is sitting in prison for the crimes of these men. Come on, Steve, speak up. Who is it? Come on, Steve. Who is the one person sitting in prison right now for this assault? Go ahead.
And Hanson Conservative said, I was with her until she said white privilege. White privilege turns a lot of people off.
I didn't say privilege. I said power.
It was close enough in his opinion, probably.
Well, great. I said power.
Yeah, it was close enough. He took it that way. He took it that way.
Well, that's great. I'll tell you why, buddy, because you're not really listening. Obama couldn't do one of the things that Donald Trump has done. And that is where the power is. He couldn't do one of those things. He could not look at a 10-year-old and say he'd be dating her. He could not say he can grab women without asking. He couldn't do one of those things, and that's where the power is. So the person that says, I don't understand, give me a break. Just go ahead. Try to hold Trump to the same, level that Obama is.
I think, something, I don't think it's going to happen in his life.
Where did Steve go? Stevie. Where'd you go, Stevie?
I don't know. I don't see him in the comments, but I'll say this. I don't think they're going to hold him. I think what will happen with Trump, he'll be fine. He'll die a rich old man. But I think what will end up happening is history will hold him accountable. You're going to have people that are probably not going to want to admit they were MAGA and things like that. If what folks allege against him is true, as time goes on, people have to explain, why would you support him with all this? Because the Epstein files, we will eventually get to the bottom of it. It may be like Deep Throat, where it's, years down from the Nixon administration, but eventually people that were involved in it and people that were paid off, those secrets will come out. And you're going to have history saying, why did so many people back this guy with so much obvious shit floating around and orbiting around them? So history will get him, but I don't know if it's going to happen in his lifetime.
Yeah, no, his name will be tainted forever. Like the Trump name will not go down in history as a positive, right? Did you watch Nuremberg, by the way?
Nuremberg? No, I haven't seen the movie, no.
Oh my God, write it down right now. Watch it this week. The parallels are like scary.
Wow.
And so I do believe there will come a time, and this is why I always say when MAGA comes on my lives, I go, I'm trying to help you out here. Burn it. Any picture you have with a hat or like supporting this man, like destroy it as quickly as possible.
Not the MAGA hat. Well, this is what I say on my live all the time, is I think the MAGA hat will live on. It will be a symbol in America for the rest of our lives. It'll be similar to the Confederate flag.
Yes.
It will be a statement.
Yes.
It will be a statement.
Not a good one.
Depends on who you ask, but it will be.
No. In the future, it will not be.
Well,
right now people think it is, but it won't be.
Is the Confederate flag a good symbol?
Nope, but some people think it is, I guess.
Well, and it'll be in that same circle. People who have Confederate flags, they'll have MAGAs. It'll be in the same. I mean, it's the same kind of mindset, I believe, going forward. It will be, all of this stuff will live on. It'll be a symbol that'll have a state. This means something. This is a statement. It will be a statement from now on. Anybody you see wearing this hat, it will be a statement.
It'll be a statement to run in the opposite direction. It'll be a red flag, really. It'll be a red flag. So I want to end with this. I'm going to give you your time back, but I want to end with this. And actually, I was fortunate to have Rosie come in my live today, Rosie O'Donnell. And
wow, really?
Yeah.
She's in Ireland, right? She's in Ireland, right?
She's in Ireland, but there's something her and I really do agree on, and it is this. America, I know we're divided, but and Tim, I know you'll agree with me on this. We do have to find room and grace for people who are leaving MAGA. We do have to find a space for them, even if we're upset about their vote, even if we're enraged by it. We have to know that they voted, and it wasn't always based on misogyny and racism. For some of them, absolutely. But for a lot of people, they were hurting. They believed he was going to bring down the cost of their goods. They believed that he was going to make America great again for them, and he didn't. And if they can wake up and realize that he's been a liar and they were conned, just like a 90-year-old woman giving her password away because someone said they could fix her computer. But I'm just saying that I'm going to find room and grace for people who are willing to admit that they made a mistake and that we can come together as Americans and unite.
And for my audience, you are former MAGA yourself, correct?
not former MAGA. I was a former Trump voter in 16 and 20. I wasn't like so deep in the cult that I couldn't see him for who he was, but I did vote for him. And it's okay. You'll be okay on the other side. And I appreciate the people who found grace for me. I never asked for forgiveness because I don't even forgive myself for my vote. But I do appreciate the grace to change and the grace to try to find common ground, because I do believe that as Americans, we probably agree on more than we disagree on.
Fair point. I totally agree with that as well. Mishi,
All
always
right.
a pleasure
Thank
talking to you. Rosie O'Donnell, wow. Good on you. Thank you.
We've been following each other for like 6 years.
Wow. It's good shit.
Yeah, she's great.
I've talked to Michael Cohen. The only person I've had of any, Trump's lawyer, Michael Cohen. I was able to go on his live and talk to him for about a half hour, ask him some really tough questions. That was about all I've gotten. So I wish I had it on my side so I could.
It's amazing. Don't you think it's amazing that Rosie was like, we need to find room to like forgive and include MAGA? That was her message on my live today.
If you're ever going to win again, you need them. It makes sense to me.
Well, I actually just think if we need to move on as a society, we need to listen, America, we need to come together, okay? Like, forget Republican, Democrat. I actually don't even care for, I have lots of friends who are Republicans. I don't even care if a Republican wins again. It's just Donald Trump is a horrible human being who is bringing out the worst of our country. So I'm fine with a traditional Republican winning. I'm just not okay with what this is today.
Fair enough. Well, he only has so much time left on Earth. Father Time is undefeated. I got to go. Thank you, Michi.
Bye. Take care.
Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
And that's what I say all the time to my Trump 2028 voters. You know, that Trump might be able to convince Congress if he wins in the midterms to give him a third term or whatever the case may be. There's plenty of voters that may be okay with it, but you can't be Father Time. I mean, Trump will be 83 in 2028. You think he's going to really be president from the age of 83 to 87 effectively? Nothing to do with whether or not he gets the votes. He ain't got the time. I mean, living to 87 is a blessing in itself. Hell, living to 80 is a blessing. You think this guy going to be effective until he's 87 years old? That's asking a lot. Conservative said, yeah, that was close enough. She makes me want to buy a MAGA hat. Wow. My last caller made you want to buy a MAGA. You said she was with her until she talked about the privilege thing. That's all it took. And now you want a MAGA hat. Wow. And I see in the comments, Bradley says there's a 2-term limit. Everybody knows there's a 2-term limit. He plans on breaking that. Dummycrats got nobody. Tom Cornell, you kind of covered what I said earlier, is that the Republicans are saying that the Democrats do not have a decent candidate so that they don't have to worry about them. A couple of things I want to tell you, first of all. First thing I said earlier, what I was saying to Mishi, my last guest, is doesn't matter who the Republicans put up next, they're going to be a weaker candidate than Trump was. There is no Republican that's going to have the same fanfare and adoration that Trump had coming down the golden escalator. Vance can't do that. Rubio ain't got that. You think Hegseth is going to pull it? None of them. So you can talk about the Democrats, but understand your candidate is going to be significantly weaker. The way Trump can host a rally, all that energy and shit, Rubio and them, none of them can do that. So you want to say the Democrats have nobody. Whoever you have is very weak as well. That's the first thing I want to bring up. Second thing I want to say is this. Right now we're talking, 2.5 years or so before 2028. You know, we'll be voting in November 2028. It's currently April 2026. So it's about 2 years and 4th month, 11th month. So 2 years and 7 months away. The point I'm trying to make is this. President Trump won in November of 2016. That's when he was elected, November of 2016. 2 years and 7 months before Trump became president, nobody was even talking about Trump as president. They were talking about Jeb Bush. They were talking about other candidates. Trump was not even a viable candidate 2 years and 7 months before he ran for president, or he won the presidency. Obama won in November of 2008. He wasn't a viable candidate of any significance 2 years and 7 months before he won either. They both of them, both Trump and Obama, blew up much closer to the election than 2 years and 7 months away. So the point I'm making is there is still a whole lot of time to suggest that the Democrats have nobody. The Republicans, when Trump won, did not have him at the time, and when Obama won, they didn't have him on the Democrat side at the time. So there's still room for somebody to blow up and come out of nowhere. So it's just too early right now to make that statement with confidence. There's still a lot of time left. In the comments, if you think Trump was shot in the ear, you shouldn't be legally allowed to have children. Full stop. Damn, evil. Says if you think Trump was shot in the ear, you shouldn't be legally. Jesus Christ. What do you think was that phony, huh? Oh my God. Anyway, Trump wasn't a politician. That's why I voted for Trump. He is now. In fact, Trump got in there and just everything Trump does that he gets chastised for. What do Republicans do to defend Trump? They point to other politicians. He became president, and everything he's doing is just like a typical politician. He started war without going to Congress. Well, you know, Obama did the same thing. Everything he does now that he gets criticized for, they're going pointing right to typical politicians and saying that somebody else did the same thing. So maybe there was a time when he wasn't a typical politician, but that time has obviously passed. Anyhow, folks, I see a few lazy thumbs and things like that in here, so we'll leave it at the 122,000. I do appreciate the likes as always. I can't win them all, but thanks some of you folks. Pimp name Furback, thank you. I'll see that says agree. Nevertheless, there is a massive amount of podcasters and social media platforms that are denouncing him all at the same time. That is crazy too, by the way. Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens, Alex Jones. Who else is there? Joe Rogan, which Joe Rogan wasn't really MAGA, but the rest of them were. Even the Hodge twins now are calling him a pathological liar. That's like 5 different podcasters. All of them have millions of followers on the internet. Hodge twins, Megyn Kelly, Joe Rogan is one of the biggest ever. Candace Owens has like 7 mil, I think. All of them really, really big audiences. And they're all in sync. And most of these folks are criticizing Trump almost every broadcast they put out. We'll see, but I do believe that President Trump is hemorrhaging, if I can say the word properly. And Tucker Carlson, Tucker Carlson's another one. He's hemorrhaging MAGA. He is hemorrhaging some MAGA. He needs to do something significant, quick. Otherwise, we'll see what happens. Anyhow, it's your boy Tim, the Handsome Liberal. I appreciate you guys tuning in. As always, you know I'll see you tomorrow. Feel free to follow the program if you're watching on Instagram, TikTok, or Substack. Give your boy a sub if you're watching on YouTube. Take care. Good night. Thank you.